Good morning. Happy Sunday to everybody. I hope everybody's doing well. Thank you for being here. Today, we're going to be talking about coins and slabbing or grading, or do you like the coin raw? Now, we've talked about this a number of times. And again, this is one of those things Paula calls her favorite subject. But the reason that I'm doing this is I want to show you today, kind of walk through the actual grading costs, the cost per type of coin. And then on my thumbnail was the George Washington 50-cent commemorative. It's a $25 coin, and in many cases, you'll see this thing slabbed. And so we're going to talk about why you might slab a coin and why you might not slab a coin. We're going to talk about the value of slabbing versus the value of the raw coin. And then we're going to talk about when you really do want to do it. So if that's something of interest, make sure you bookmark this and come back and watch it later. The other thing is if you track the cost of the slabbing over time, this will be a good video to track for for July 2024. That way, when you want to go back and look at something in maybe a year and see what the slab prices were, you can come back to this video and see these slab marks, our slab prices and how much it costs for grading to see what the increased value was. So that's one reason that I'm doing this. So if you're interested in that, cool. Hopefully this is something that you guys like. All right. So real quick, I have about 11 people in here so far. So I want to say hi to EMR, Jack Gallman, and I'm Crazy, Chris G, and Paula and Eric. How you doing, Paula?
Good morning. I am good.
You sound like you need another cup of coffee.
I do need more coffee. I just woke up like 10 minutes ago and I'm still working on the first cup.
And I am 30 minutes earlier than normal, so
that's what I thought. When you went live, I was like, wow, he's going early.
yeah, when I set it up, I don't know what I was thinking, and got up here this morning and I got my little YouTube notification live in 30 minutes, and I was like, oh, it's not 8 o'clock. Oh my God, I started at 8 o'clock. Oh well, here's what it is. Good morning, Jeff. So, but I figured, oh, what the heck? I don't know what I was thinking. I think I set that up at like 2 o'clock this morning. So give us more time for conversation. Sundays are always fun because it's just kind of random. We talk about whatever the hell we want to talk about. Usually this is where Frosty can leave and go down and grab coffee and do whatever and come back, and the conversations change 20 or 30 times, and
free for all.
No, but this is what people like. People enjoy this, right? You just talk about whatever, people ask questions. The questions get answered on the spot. I understand why people like live coin Q&A, right? Because they get their questions answered at something that's right there. So lots of fun. All right. Red Silver, I hope this works. I have been having an issue with the word games. If it doesn't work, I've checked the settings are on, so hopefully it comes back up and it works. But last week it wasn't doing it. When I tested my live stream midweek, it wasn't doing it. So there may be something with this. I may have to delete the thing and do it again. So keep an eye on it. If it doesn't happen, tag me and then I'll try to reset it. But give me just a minute so we talk about this. So good morning, Eric. How are you?
Wonderful, as usual.
Very, very good. You guys been finding anything fun? You guys been doing any searching?
Minor stuff. We found a couple good things. I haven't done any searching. I've just been working. I got a bunch of stuff from Chuck to go through. Oh, I did find something neat. Found a double die, 76p double die in my pocket change.
Oh, you mentioned that yesterday when we were talking about the 2 coins that I had sitting here.
Yeah.
That's very cool. What about you, Paula? You been finding anything? You been looking?
Just at other people's stuff. That's it.
Which is just as satisfying for me, actually.
It can be. It can be. Yeah. I mean, if it's actually something, yeah, it can be. I have a lot of stuff, coins that I will be going through and looking through. Thanks to Amanda. Amanda bought a bunch of rolls in Tulsa, and that's her favorite thing to do. She just goes table to table.
She's a hoarder too, huh?
Yeah, so she bought several duplicates of different years, and so I'll be doing some streaming with her, going through those rolls. So that'll be fun.
Fun stuff.
But,
I need to get with Eric and you and
Yeah.
find one.
I
'Cause-
just bought some new rolls. I just hit a milestone too.
How
I
many?
think
250?
after the rolls I just bought 700,
Oh Lord,
Oh,
have
nice.
mercy.
but I eclipsed 30,000 rolls sitting here.
I won't live that long.
Right.
Me neither. Me neither.
I can't imagine. I can't imagine 30,000 rolls of cents.
Imagine a queen size bed made out of pennies,
That I could think of worse.
right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's not working. Let me try and see if I can do something real quick. And resolve this.
But I do think I got like 20 72p rolls coming. Bank wrapped,
Oh, that's fun.
bed wrapped.
You got any reveals going on today?
One reveal, 47D roll. And then I don't have a reveal for a week because I'm getting ready for vacation for a couple days.
Yep. Where you heading?
Fun show.
Oh, I actually knew that.
Yeah, fun show. To see if I can buy me some coins. Then it looks like I'll be going to the Dalton, Georgia show too. And that's like around the 1st of August.
That's going to be a good show.
The fun, actually, Dalton is always a good show. I've never been to the summer one. The winter one is good. But somebody said that the summer Dalton show is real good. It's actually one of the bigger regional shows. And that wouldn't surprise me because it was a pretty big regional show for just a regional show, normal.
Mm-hmm. That's how the Tulsa show was.
I would say that it would probably be similar in size to the Tulsa. This year's Tulsa show is probably bigger than the winter Dalton. I've only been to the winter shows, so I can't tell you. This one is supposed to, some coin group in Atlanta is involved in it. So I would imagine it's a pretty big show because I think they got a pretty big coin collecting community in Atlanta.
I'd like to go to the fun show. There's a couple of them that I would really like to do. I would like to go to the fun show, but I would also like to go to the World Coin Fair.
Money.
Yeah, in
Mhm.
let's try this.
That's Oklahoma City next year, right?
Yes, next year it's
Yeah.
Oklahoma City.
Which is going to be much closer to me.
And that can be a very big show. I know when it's in Chicago, it's considered one of the biggest shows.
Okay, let's see if that one works. Hopefully that works. If that doesn't work, then I'm just going to have to disable the game widget and try to find out something else. So we'll see.
Resty.
I would just try in letters. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's picking up the game widget, so I'm going to have to go back into the Streamlabs settings and check that out. But it's not going to happen right now because I have stuff to talk about. So, again, I was talking about Eric this morning, right? Having some technical issues with the setup. Trying to find out why certain things aren't working. But it's okay. It's not a big deal. All right. Let's get into what I was going to talk about. Let's everybody's going to be like, oh, why are you sitting here talking about nothing? All right. All
Hey,
right.
there's been shows that have been super famous about nothing.
Well, that's true. That's true. And it's amazing what people like. So, but I think we're good. I think we got it up. It's just not working. It's driving me crazy. I wish that the game thing would work. I know it doesn't work on the vertical side because the vertical none of the widgets work. So, hey, Invisible, what's going on? Hey, Invisible, I need you to email me, bud. I have something for you, and I need your address. So send me an email. And if the Goofy widget doesn't work, then it is what it is, and there's nothing I can do about it this time. So no worries. All right. So what I want to do is I want to go ahead and I want to go through and I want to pull this up real quick. Now I know it's going to be a little bit small, but what I've got here, and this is located in the description as well. So you guys have this resource. It's there. Just go to the video description. You'll see PCGS, NGC, and CAC. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to talk about the coin, and I just sent it out because it's a coin that I gave away on the 4th of July stream that we did when we covered Ida's morning show. And it was a 50-cent commemorative George Washington. Now, the George Washington is very common. It is a proof coin. And if you go to buy this on eBay or somewhere like that, you're going to spend anywhere between $22 and $30, usually around the $23, $25 range. And I've had a couple people ask me in various streams, hey, Frost, what's the difference? I mean, 69 is only one away from 70, which is quote unquote, and I'm doing the air quotes here on purpose, from it being the perfect grade. Again, what is perfection?
70 is considered
right?
as perfect as it can get.
Yeah. So, but what is perfect, right? So,
Right,
it's an
right.
arbitrary.
Perfect is whoever graded your coin.
Yeah,
Right.
it's very arbitrary. And so it's important to understand that, right? Because it's something that you want to look at. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to kind of pull this up. I'm going to try to make this a little bit bigger. So I've got to make sure that people on both streams can see the whole thing. And I think you should be good there. I'm going to try and make it just a hair larger. That should be able to be read. I know that you guys can't see this unless you're watching the YouTube side, Paul and Eric.
I'm watching it. I see it.
Okay. So what I'm looking at right now is the NGC grading services. And what I want to do is I want to scroll down here and start looking at the grading tiers and how much it is. Now, obviously, if you choose to walk a coin like that through, you're foolish. Don't spend your money to walk a coin like a Washington $50.
The membership fee too.
Yeah.
A lot of people overlook the fact that they have to become members of these PCGS and NGC. So.
Right. So
and CAC.
It's one of those things where, again, depending upon what you want to do. So we'll go down here to what most people do, which is going to be your economy. Okay. This is normally what people are going to do unless you have a coin that's of more value than $300. Okay. So any coin that has a value $0 to $300, or 1 cent to $300 is going to fall in this tier. You can't do colonial coins. You can't do world coins, and you can't do tokens or metals struck before 1990. Okay. Doesn't matter if they're private. Doesn't matter if they're U.S. official, U.S. mint. They give you very specific guidelines about what you can submit under this particular tier. And when you look at this, it tells you how long it's going to take you. So it's going to be about 70 days, and it's going to cost you $23. Now, again, Paula talked to you just a second ago about membership. So again, you're looking at there's a fee, an annual fee on top of this. Okay. So you're looking at $23 to grade a $23 coin. Now, here's the thing. The question is, will that slab yield you $50? No. Unless it comes back at proof 70, then you might get $70 for it. So by the time you pay for shipping, you're losing a bunch of money, right? So it's important to understand costs. Now, let's say you have something a little bit more valuable. And I was teasing Eric earlier, and you can't see his screen because this is blocking it. But he had a coin up there, and I'm like, now that's one you want to get graded. And I was being facetious with him, and we were kind of laughing about it. But there are coins like, here, I'll pull this up real quick. So Eric, how much did you pay? Yeah, let me make you big. This is the one that you've seen. Again, it's here on the left or up here on top, above me.
Yep.
Talk about this coin. Talk about the grading for it. Talk about what the coin is, and then tell me how much you paid for it.
1940S RPM 1. It has a lamination peel, but it's been cleaned. So it's a details coin. They paid, I'm going to guess, $22 to $23 to have that slabbed.
Okay.
I think ANAX is $15 and then $7 for the attribution.
And you bought it for how much?
$4. And that was at a Great Collections auction. It cost me more to ship it to my house than it did to buy the coin. I bought another coin with it, and that's actually the reason that I bought it, but I think it's put away. I had that out for this specific reason, to basically say this is something that, you know, I understand some people want to get their coins graded for preservation, and it's not a total loss. You know, it's like a break-even situation, because like we're talking about those George Washington proofs or whatever.
Yep.
A lot of them are graded. When did they come out? Do you know?
Which one?
The one you're talking about, the George Washington proof.
1982.
All right. So chances are those were bought and sold by the roll for about $3 a piece back in the 90s and 2000s. And there are a lot of NGC and PCGS have what's called dealer memberships and stuff like that, because a lot of people want graded coins. It's easy to sell a graded coin, especially if you're buying it at a similar price as a raw coin. So a lot of dealers, they send, I mean, the reason you see MS66, Lincoln cents and nickels and dimes is because somebody sent a whole roll in.
Yeah.
They do what's called a bulk submission, and then they pay like $8 or $10 or $11. I don't even know what it is. It might be $11 or $13. I don't know. Depending on the grade it comes back. And it depends on how you set your tier up also. But so, I mean, there is ways to get that coin, that George Washington coin, graded at, you know, proof 69 or proof 70, and you still are making $3 off of it. I mean, some of these dealers bought rolls and rolls of that stuff.
Well, but again, most of, you know, we're talking, again, when you're talking about slabbing, how many people in chat actually send stuff off to get graded? Okay. Now, for me, because I do so very little of it, I can count on one hand the number of coins that I personally have sent off to get slabbed. Now, the 4 coins that I've sent off to get slabbed, 2 of them were Carson City Morgan dollars. One of them was a seeded dollar, and then the other one was a seeded half. So the reason that they were sent off were because they were, one, I wanted authenticity or protection of the coin, but they were ones that I was very, very proud of, and I really just wanted to make sure that I kind of protected them. I didn't want to take a chance. They were fairly decent grades. I wanted to make sure they didn't get damaged. Now, one of them came back cleaned, and that was the seeded dollar. I was a little bit upset about that because it didn't look clean. It had some decent toning on it, but it was quite an old cleaning. And so, but again, it's still, I know the value of it. The coin is still worth a few $100s, and it's protected. But I didn't send them off for grading myself. I sent them to somebody else and had them send them in. And they were doing, 25, 30, 40, 50 coins. I had one coin that I purchased and had the dealer that I purchased it from send the coin off because they were sending it just like Eric's talking about. They sent in a monster box for grading. Right. So it only cost me $20 to have it graded. I didn't have to pay the membership fee. I didn't have to pay shipping because they were already doing it. They only charged me shipping from their shop to my house once I got the slab in. And so if you're going to do that, you have to be smart about it. But again, in most cases, you have to determine, is it even worth it? And Paula, you stated at the very beginning, you're looking at, $23 just for the fee. But then how much are they sending the coin? How much is it going to cost to ship it? Well, if you only,
if there's a variety plus attribution on there, that's another $15.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, it can get high.
Shipping, you have to pay shipping there, shipping back, insurance.
Yeah. So when you're talking about having a coin,
your tier can change. Your tier can change. They can change the fee that they charge you.
But that means your coin's worth a lot of money, though.
Yeah, depending on what the coin
that's
comes back, is graded. But
which is what happened to me with my seated. It was over the economy.
Like Eric said, that just means that you have a valuable coin.
Yeah, they don't downgrade your tier. If you send a coin thinking it's going to be this much money and it's not, they don't say, okay, well, we're going to give you that much money back.
Exactly.
Marley and T says, be very careful submitting coins through somebody else's membership.
Yeah, I graded one coin last year through PCGS, and I did it through somebody else's membership. And we're doing we're at the fun show, we're going to grade some coins, and I'm going to grade 3 coins, which I probably shouldn't do it. I don't know why I'm doing it. I'm satisfied.
And that's a reason not to grade your coins.
He says, get something good ready to go, and we'll put a little PCGS submission in. And I'm like, God, I can't even think of anything that I have here. And then I said, well, I've got these quarters and half dollars that I can go through. And so I says, well, I looked through a roll of cutouts on 70D quarters from 1970 mint sets.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've got FS801, FS802, FS101, and FS102 in mint state.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking about doing those because I think those are $100 coins pretty consistently.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing though, and I literally paid a quarter for them, so I'm not out much. And it will preserve them. I mean, they're at that age now. I've had them for 30 years. They were one of the first batches of coins I bought off of eBay years and years ago. So, but and then I might not do it. I'm just trying to.
Cost you that much money?
Huh?
I said, you know what else preserves them and doesn't cost you that much money?
They're in the mint packaging in a box. They look just fine. That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to come up with a couple coins.
I know.
That might be worth $100 because I think that when he does it, he renews his membership, and I think you get like 10 attributions or whatever. So I think it will be the attribution plus all we'll have to pay for is the variety part.
Yeah.
And I think that's why he wants me to put a couple coins in.
Gotcha.
So that's my guess. And it's usually one time, and you don't have to pay shipping because you give them that right there.
Yeah.
And like NGC, when I do NGC, because I actually have a dealer that I drop off and pick up for, because NGC is like a half hour from my house.
Nice.
And you can drop off and pick up if you're local. So that is always good. You don't have any insurance or shipping costs. But that's what I'm assuming the PCGS thing is all about, why he said try to come up with three coins to because I think he's got 7.
Gotcha.
But then again, I might not do it. I might just say, I don't know. That's all I can think. I do got some FS half dollars, but I think the quarters are actually worth more money. And I do have another proof, 1960p proof, large over small date. It's a different one than the other one I got. Could do that one. That's a $300 coin.
Do you know that Ken Potter has never sent a coin in to be graded?
That doesn't surprise me at all.
That's not entirely true.
Well,
no, he's never sent it into, I think he was involved somehow with the PCI slabbing with the autograph slabs.
yes.
So while he didn't send it in, he graded his own coins and autographed them.
Yeah, that's not the same thing.
Yeah. Well, it is, because they were grading the coins. And I didn't realize how many people were actually in that signature series.
Hi, Amanda.
He was doing that for that signature series. I mean, he wasn't doing that. He wasn't sending his own personal coins in to be graded for.
Well, most of them did that. Like Chuck had some that they told him, do a roll of your own coins. And
JT did.
Yeah.
Ken did. Yeah.
I even heard Brian Raines was involved in that.
Really?
What I heard, that there's a few Brian Raines coins around. There's Bill Fiva, JT Stanton, Ken Potter, Chuck.
JT, I know that. I don't know if the other ones did, but JT did. He didn't just do that, a certain, like, he did it frequently with error coins and everything. He was the most popular one, I think. Because I've got a couple of his coins that are signed. Hi, T.
One of Chuck's, and I've got, I think it's a James Wiles. I don't think John Wexler. I think he was supposed to do it, but I don't think he ever did it.
I don't know. I don't know the whole list of people of them that did it.
He said that
I'm talking about that was a special circumstance.
I'm going to mute him.
And huh?
Nothing. Go ahead.
That was a special circumstance, and I don't even think about that. I'm talking about like.
Yeah, I'm not a big coin grader. If I
on a regular basis.
If I had to, I probably wouldn't. My graded coins, I bought them graded already. That's the only reason they're in a slab. Except for, like I said,
I just think that there's very, very few circumstances where you should send a. I mean, everybody knows my feelings about it.
Well, I did a 60 large over small date last year, and that I had. PCGS. I think I had $35 into it after everything was said and done.
Yeah.
So it cost me $36 total, and it's a $300 and something coin. It did come back proof 68. So.
Yeah, I mean, there are reasons to now. I hear people using the reasons. Well, it's if you want to do it. I've heard you say it too, Eric, and I think that's.
That to me is the best reason that somebody can do it.
And I've heard you say that, right? If you want to do it, but here's my only problem with that statement is that people will use that as an excuse, right? If they don't get the results they're hoping for. Now, I'm probably not going to make a whole lot of sense when I'm saying this, but I'm trying. I'm not awake yet. But so new people getting coins graded, first of all, you shouldn't have any coins graded until you know how to grade yourself. That's
right. When I said that, I didn't mean somebody who gets in the hobby that should just start grading coins. My thing was there are people
So-
out there that get coins graded that have been collecting coins for years, and they just get them graded to store them all the same way and to do this and that. And to
Right.
me, if you want to waste $15, you see that I used the W word in there to do it.
Exactly.
That's one of the best reasons to do it.
Yeah,
To
I
do it
mean,
the
it
profitability,
ultimately,
you really got to know what you're doing to be profitable at grading coins. It takes a rare bird to say this is a 68 or this is a 69 and actually be right. Look at the coin grading
Right.
videos on YouTube. Very, very,
so
matter of fact, none of them are.
Kim Brissett says there's 4 things you need to be 4 things you need to be successful at grading coins. You need a good loop, you need good lighting, you need a good memory, and you need about 20 years of experience.
I agree that.
And
So,
that's only
I mean-
partially right.
Yeah.
Because
yeah, I know.
everybody, one person 69 doesn't mean it's going to be. I had a good friend that was a grader at PCGS when I lived in Michigan. This would be in the 90s, and he owned a coin shop there. And he was one of the founding graders there. He's since passed. And I can remember him saying that don't think grades don't go up because somebody's having a great day. And grades don't go down because somebody got in a fight with their wife on their way to work.
Of course.
Human nature is human nature.
They're human.
Yeah.
They are human. But that's where your personal experience comes into play. That's where your knowledge comes into play, because you can get a coin back and have a pretty good idea whether that coin is undergraded or overgraded.
Right.
And you will have a pretty good idea of what that grade is before you even send it in to be graded.
Right. But I'm just saying you can watch box reveal grading openings on YouTube. And I have never seen one where they all come back what everybody thought they were. They always come back lower than what these people are saying they are.
Yeah,
even people that do it for a living, like Ben the Coin Geek.
Yep.
He's pretty close, but a lot of the coins, he says, man, I really thought this was like, that's because he loved it. He saw something that he liked.
Yes,
he liked natural toning on coins.
We have an emotional tie to them, even if they are not our coins. And I shouldn't say we, I should say I have an emotional tie to them, even if I know that I'm not going to keep them forever. Yeah. I still haven't, there's just that tinge of emotion that's tied to it. And so naturally, I think it's better than it probably is.
Yeah. Well, I think it's human nature. My coin is better than that coin because number one, you're looking at a picture. You're not looking at the coin. And the pictures, PCGS photos are just outstanding. They're fabulous. But they're still just a picture.
And Eric,
you
know this too. There are dealers out there who make a living doing the crack out game.
That's what I'm saying. But that's what I said. It takes a special rare bird to do that. There is not a lot of those people that are successful. Most of those people get started and they have luck on 2 or 3 coins. And then they go, waist deep. We'll say it like that. And then they're broke in 3 years.
Right.
Because they've started trying to do something that is a very niche thing that you can find a coin here and there that's undergraded. That used to be the big thing with the rattlers. People used to buy rattlers and some people buy them to collect them, but other people bought them because they were notoriously undergraded. So they'd crack them out and resend them in.
And they're not doing that so much anymore. CAC grading kind of put a crimp in that.
You bet. Because CAC is...
Because they're going back to the ANA standards.
That and I've even seen them send coins in a body bag back now that is, you're kind of like, wow. I'm not sure why they did it. I'm not sure what they had to have. Radio spectrometry gun or whatever it is, where they actually saw solvent or something on the surface of the coin. That's all I can think, because their body bagging coins is being cleaned and there is no marks on these coins.
I've heard them say that they have something Ron Dravutsky.
Well, PCGS has it too. There's a lot of clean coins that come back by PCGS, and I do know for a fact that they have radio spectrometry. I can't say it this morning. Spectrometry. I think that's it.
You're good. You got it. Close enough.
Somebody with a really good nose.
Yeah, it picks up. It sniffs. It's a chemical sniffer. Is basically what it is.
It's a sniffer. Yeah.
And
very accurate too.
Yeah.
But I've heard him talk about how they are very, very picky on what coins go into their slabs. And so, I just think
that's kind of neat, because the slabbing game did. I mean, like I said, with the these people sending monster boxes in, it's crazy. If you knew what the turnaround on that and how long those coins were in a grader's hands, you would be shocked. But I kind of agree with it, because they do go by. Usually your first impression is correct on something. So if you see something, and that goes back to grading, you see something and you're like, and then you look at it for 2 days and you're like, I think this is better than I thought it was. It probably isn't. You probably built yourself up, and it's probably just as bad as it was when you first saw it. So,
well, Paula says this all the time, and I think you do too, Eric, and that is, if you look at a coin and it doesn't look right, set it aside. Look at it, research the coin, go look at a bunch of them, and then come back to that one, right? Because your eye is really good about picking up details. You just may not know what you see, but you see something.
That's right, and that's what I'm saying. People try to talk themselves into a better grade, I think, more often than not.
Yeah,
and they listen to people. They listen to other, and I'm just going to say it bluntly. They listen to other people who are no more knowledgeable than they are, and maybe even less. And they will take their advice, and that's a big mistake. I see it all the time on YouTube. You get a group of people together, and all of a sudden, and it's not even. I'll go past the whole grading part. Just people getting together, looking through coins, and they all get somebody will see something on it, and then all of a sudden everybody else on the panel sees the exact same thing, and they all get a huge case of pareidolia.
Yeah, I was gonna say group pareidolia.
And then all of a sudden, oh, yep, it's a double die. You should send that in. You should have it graded. It's worth $1 million. And
well, look at clouds. People do that with clouds all the time, right? You look at it and you see something and you say, look, it's a dragon, and it looks nothing like it. And that cloud changes for a minute. Like, oh yeah, there it is. I see it. Because the mind sees what you want to see, right? And it happens in the intelligence world. It happens in, you look at, have you ever been, this is a little bit off the wall, but have you ever been sitting down, laying on a couch, and you're looking at it on a ceiling tile, or you're sitting in a chair and you're kind of staring at like a marble flooring or something, and all of a sudden you start to see faces?
All the time.
All the time, right? Because your mind wants to make up. We get so familiar with seeing certain things that our mind wants to make sense of.
It wants to make
nothing.
Sense out of it. Exactly.
And so
I just had a nuclear explosion in my brain from people that get picked up by aliens.
Well, but the thing is it's going to.
That was definitely not something that you would think that would be pareidolia.
Well, we're not talking mental health, and we're not talking about, drinking binge hallucinations.
Well, you know what I'm saying? You hear it and you're just like, oh yeah, we saw aliens and this and this and this, and then I got anal probed.
That's right.
That's a hard pareidolia to swallow.
The best thing that you guys can do, the very best thing that you guys can do for yourselves is if you think that you have something great, don't share it with anybody. Don't go out and publicly announce it and post it everywhere and show it everywhere on YouTube until you are 100% certain that it is what you think it is, that it is either the grade that you think it is, or that it's some great variety or some great error. Keep it to yourself, because then you avoid a whole lot of embarrassment and you don't feel like you need to justify anything. And yeah, just keep it to yourself until you know for sure that it is what it is.
So earlier, T said something about, it's like they had somebody trade out a $10,000 coin for like a normal $20 one. Folks, not every coin shop is out to get you, but you do have to find trusted sources, right? You have to
how
find.
many people I have heard say that exact same thing?
Yeah. A lot.
I have heard so many people say that they got back a coin that wasn't the same coin as they sent in. And I would bet that maybe happens 1 in a million.
Yeah, Eric Matthew says, I know what I have here.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's
like you're sending in a coin that's worth $10,000. First of all, why don't you have a photo of that coin?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Here's the thing about graded, and this isn't why you should get coins graded. Why a beginner might want to buy a graded coin. Because you can be relatively certain that coin is a nice coin if it's graded in a slab. So you can be relatively certain it's worth close to the money you're paying for it. So let's say you buy an ASE, and I think that when they're 68, they're basically melt prices. When they're 69, they're like what you buy them for, and then they double in price when they go 70.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just speculating I'm just guessing off the top of my head. So somebody who's not a real experienced collector that wants to get into the hobby can be relatively certain if they go into a coin shop and we'll just say and buy a 1952p Benji slabbed like MS65, and it's like, we'll say $27, that coin is pretty much a $27 coin.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? They're not buying something. Now to take that coin and say, I'm going to send it into PCGS, and then you already got more than $27 into it by the time you get it back, that's not a good way to go.
Right.
So there is a reason, if you want slabbed coins, buy them slabbed already.
Buy them already slabbed, exactly. Yeah. Going back real quick to that, what T said about somebody getting a having a $10,000 coin swapped. That means that out there somewhere, there is somebody who sent in a $10 coin that has a $10,000 coin. Now, they're going to get a huge, gigantic bill from PCGS or whoever graded that coin. Don't you think that there would be some questions asked?
Yeah, don't you think somebody would say, what the heck is that?
Exactly. So.
Or you may get that person that says, I told you this was valuable.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of that out there. I mean, there is.
I've heard so many people who think that their coin was worth a ton of money when they sent it in, and it comes back and it's not what they thought it was. So it automatically goes to, they swapped out my coin.
Yeah,
that's not the coin I sent.
I did have a good buddy of mine. He comes in every once in a while. He was pretty new to the channel, and he'd taken a bunch of photos of his coin, sent it in, and it came back with a note. Somehow the coin had got scratched when they were doing it. Like they were pulling it across something, caught it across a light, or something happened when they were putting it.
And I'm sure that.
And they sent it back, and they were like, there was absolutely nothing wrong with this coin. Like it wasn't anything major. I think it had some doubling. It was a 2022 or something like that. It had some doubling on the date. But they're like, inadvertently it got damaged. And they sent a nice letter explaining what was happening, told them that, it was on them. And I don't know what they did to work it out, but I've never heard, outside of the one case, I don't think I've ever heard of a grading company damaging. Now, I have seen damaged coins when they did conservation.
Yeah, that happens
because
too.
somebody had done
that is a
something.
risk you take.
Yeah,
I
because somebody
have,
had done something, then the coin comes back stark black.
I have had coins. A matter of fact, 1995 DDO number 1, MS67. After a year, it had a huge thumbprint on the front of it, and that hurt. But what do you say? They'll come right back and say, "Well, how do you know it's not your thumbprint?" And then technically, I probably don't know. And it could have been somebody at the bank that just grabbed because they emptied that stuff in a bag into a hopper, and they probably roll their hands through it and stuff like that. That stuff gets touched more than people think it
Hold
does.
on a minute. I got a friend who runs fingerprinting for a living. Let me find out. Then I'm going to chew your butt. No,
no, I never complained to him about it. I was just like, out of all the coins, that one is one that I kind of wanted to be nice.
What's up, Steve? Good morning.
I bought this one right here, and it's graded PCI 66 back when PCI was actually semi-reputable.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this has a chance of going 66 or 67 in a PCGS slab. I didn't look at it with a loop. I'm just looking at it with my eyes. It looks really nice.
Gotcha, Eric. Yeah, I've heard of that. Now that I don't doubt happens sometimes. That's
Eric,
why you have to be very careful who you.
Yeah, Eric Matthew says. Eric Matthew, he's on the other chat. He goes, "Oh, for sure." And I've been on a lot of Facebook groups. The defunction's real.
I don't even participate. I get tagged every once in a while.
Yeah.
And unless it's something really that I deem that it's not going to turn into, most of it.
The EMR coin said that T was talking about that a dealer swapped out a coin and said,
I've actually heard of that supposedly.
Yeah,
happening.
I've heard of that too. It wasn't the grading company that swapped.
No,
it
I said dealer. I didn't say grading company.
I've actually heard of that too.
Oh, I thought it was the grade. I thought.
No. I said dealer. The coin. Yeah, the coin shop, and that's why I was talking about making sure you had trusted partners. Not all coin shops are out to get you. That was how I had prefaced that one. So, if I didn't speak that clearly, then that's on me.
I do not clean anything for the most part. Sometimes when I'm photographing coins, there'll be big rolling machine wax blobs on them that are interfering with something that I actually need to get a picture of.
Mm-hmm.
And in super rare cases, I will take like xylene or acetone and get the wax off.
Yeah, wax on.
But no, not for the most part. I have got a bottle of MS70 sitting on my desk, and I have owned it for 5 years, and it's still sealed. It's never been opened yet. And I've got a bottle of Vertigon on my desk that is 5 years old, and it's still never been opened. I have a
bottle of Verticare.
Verticare, that's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like MS70. Here, MS70, it's weird because if you use it wrong, it can actually tone a coin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well,
it is soap,
and
that's all it is.
MS70 is the one that MS70 is the one that I had. I can't remember who was talking about it. I want to say it was Keith or maybe it was Mike that somebody had done it. They sent it in, and then when they did their restoration, right? It came back, and that coin came back freaking stark black because whatever they had used interacted with it and just totally beat the coin up. I mean, just turned it to, just a horrible looking coin. So,
Yeah.
can you guys do me a
MS-70
favor real quick? Jack Gallman's like, I've never heard of MS-70. Can you kind of walk through and talk about what MS-70 actually is?
MS-70 is what is called here's a picture of it. I don't know if you can see it.
Yep. It's a little out of focus, but we get the luster.
Here, let me try. It's not going to leak. It's still sealed. So there's that. And it is just a coin. It's soap. It does have alcohol in it also. But for the most part, it's potassium hydroxide, which is soap is sodium hydroxide. So it's very close to soap. But it says right on here, it's not a dip. It's not made for coins that grade under AU. It's basically to remove dirt, surface contaminants. Like if it's sat on a desk and got a bunch of dust built up inside, it won't leave. Like if you see a lot of clean coins, one of the telltale signs for clean coins is inside the little close creases and crevices, you get dark buildup.
So Eric Maith, I'm considering washing some of my 2024 coins. I'm finding them warm water is fine. They're gorgeous. I know that drying them is completely crucial. One, don't ever clean your coin. But if you're doing it on copper, you're introducing water to copper, you're going to speed up that corrosion process, especially with the zinc.
Yep.
So even though temporarily it looks like it's a benefit, you're actually doing long-term damage to the coin. You just sped up the process. So anything with zinc or...
Why are you having to clean coins that haven't even been out a full year?
Yeah.
Like,
So
I think that he's talking about have dirt on them, like the wash spots. You can actually get those wash spots off.
yeah. So just FYI, again, I mean, it's one thing like with, you know, and we talked about this yesterday a little bit. Tarnish is they're sticky.
Yeah, here's what the
But
direction.
why are you even, I mean, if they're just pocket change, who cares? Do what you want.
Right,
to.
but I don't know why they are, or they might not be. I'm assuming they're not. But
No, he
this
said they were
MS-70,
sticky.
It says, take a Q-tip, apply directly to the coin. Allow a few seconds for the MS-70 to penetrate the contaminants, then gently, and you go very slow, like a very slow turning of the Q-tip.
Roll it, yeah.
Rolling, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And it will remove it. Then you clean it with distilled water. Here's another thing. Don't use tap water.
Yeah, make sure.
No,
it's
distilled water
It
is
has
key.
chloramine or chlorines in it. And here's, like you were saying, a coin came back and turned black. Usually what that means is somebody used tap water on it and they cleaned it with something that had a copper ion in it or copper sulfate, because chlorine will turn copper sulfate black. Also, if you have any products that have acid, like a coin dip, if the coin that they used was dipped and it had an acid in it, and then they used this, like this, potassium hydroxide, it will turn the coin black.
Mm-hmm.
Just through chemical reactions. Sulfur is the culprit, and all the coins are washed with sulfur-based washes. So when you hit sulfur with certain types of chemicals, it turns black. That's just.
I wouldn't use anything on a copper scent or on a copper plated zinc scent other than just like pure acetone.
Yeah,
But
I use
like
xylene.
said, don't use water on it. I mean,
The problem with the acetone is getting pure acetone. When you go to like Lowe's or Home Depot, you're not buying pure acetone all the time. You're buying a blend of certain things. There's stuff to bring the odor down and all that. So go to something that you know is 100% pure acetone.
hang on, I'll be right back.
Same with nail polish remover. A lot of it is acetone based, but it's not pure acetone.
Oh no, there's a lot of other, yeah.
So make sure you're getting 100% pure.
You know,
it says
Seven,
100% pure acetone.
I've always asked that if because money is one of the filthiest things. If you actually do germ tests on dollar bills, the stuff that comes back is ridiculous.
Oh, 7 out of 10 bills used to test positive for drugs too.
Well, drugs and fecal matter. But what's important about looking at this is that, my joke used to always be, well, if money is so dirty, why is it illegal to launder money?
Right.
But when we're talking about cleaning coins, there's, and again, even conservation is cleaning. It's just done by somebody who understands what needs to be done without damaging the coin.
Yeah, the best advice on cleaning coins is don't.
Don't. Yeah. Period. Bottom line. Right.
Yeah.
In my work,
there are reasons to do it, but my advice is if you want to clean a coin,
coins in a tumbler. Yay.
Start with coins that aren't worth anything that you're going to just take back to the bank. Find out what do experiments on coins that are worthless or just worth face value. It will let you know, like when you dip a penny, that it turns pink and it gets bright.
Yep.
It never gets back to the same color.
I'll tell you what, not all cleaning is created equal either. Red Silver just said something that made the hair on the back of my neck stand up. And I've seen other metal detectorists do it too, putting their coins that they find in a rock tumbler. That is the worst thing that you can do other than hitting it with a Dremel or SOS
or a buffer.
pad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see those whizzed coins, they call them whizzed. That's actually
exactly.
a buffing pad on a Dremel.
Yeah, and those look like they're horrible, but they
sure are shiny though.
Best thing you can do with a metal detected coin is just rinse it with, use like Eric said, maybe even, I don't know, soap maybe, but
if it's got
distilled water, rinse
super
it.
crust on it, if it's got like crust you can't get off that's like concrete, stick it in olive oil, or mineral oil,
and let it soak.
And it'll.
And I have seen people freeze and thaw. Frank did an experiment.
Freeze and thaw can work too.
Yeah, actually. Freeze and thaw. But the worst thing you can do is, because people have found valuable coins metal detecting, and there's a huge difference when if you find one really valuable and you send it off to be graded and it's been lightly cleaned as opposed to rock tumbler cleaned.
Yeah. I did that maybe 20 years ago. I got a bunch of change and just played with it, cleaning coins, and I came to the conclusion real fast that you don't need to clean coins, even dipping coins. Now, dealers that have dipped coins for 20 years, now they're getting popped dipping coins.
Yeah.
Even the best, the people that say, I've been doing this for years, I don't understand why this is changing. Well, things change. Technology changes. They're detecting it now. And ultimately, it's cheating.
Yep. There's a certain dealer YouTuber who has quite a big channel that's getting popped now quite frequently for his cleaned coins.
Well, maybe that's because he advertised that he cleaned the coins.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. And I wouldn't explain why might have that issue.
Nice, Kevin. But at least you did something good with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I just I love watching the metal detectorists. I really love that. But the instant they pull a coin out and they thumb it,
or they squirt it with water and they hit it with a toothbrush.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or even I've seen them steal the steel brushes. I've seen them use the steel brushes. Oh God, help me.
Yeah, it
kills me.
I put in the other chat, folks. Again, having the right tools for the job matters, right? There's the old adage: if you gave Abraham Lincoln was once asked, "You have 3 hours to cut down a tree," what would you do? And he says, "I would spend the first 2 hours sharpening my axe." The important part of this is to understand what's going on. So for instance, we're talking about the metal detectors, right? Take a squirt bottle with distilled water, but don't wipe the coin. You're introducing micro scratching to the coin. You're damaging the surface of the coin. Right.
I am
And so
woohoo.
a lot of people are like, well, why does Paula cringe? Well, because they're damaging the coin when they do this.
Oh,
You may find something really nice and you spin with a really crusty old dirty leather
Most
glove.
likely it's already damaged though from being in the dirt.
Not
but
it
necessarily.
can be.
No
but
reason,
not-
no
not-
reason to push it further.
Yeah.
Right, it can be, and
Yeah.
but I have seen silver coins come out really nice,
Yeah.
really nice,
And
and
even gold coins that have stuff on
I
them.
actually watched
People
a,
wipe them off. They damage
YouTuber
the gold.
pull a barber dime up that was like AU-ish. I mean, it wouldn't have got
Mhm.
AU because it was in the ground, but it was beautiful.
right. There's
And
a certain
they even
amount of-
said they squirted water. And this is a guy that usually thumbs the coins. He even said, "Don't thumb that one.
oh god,
You know, that one's too nice to do it." So he
Sorry.
actually knew that the coins he was pulling up usually were like all cheesy and everything before he did it.
Siren was like, what
Yeah,
about
that's
spitting?
right.
I was like, haktua.
Yeah, too.
ha, twa. Yeah,
Yeah, but
It's
again,
hard
the
to
point is like, okay, and even now I want to go back to something real quick. I wanted to do it and you guys kind of talked about it, but
Sorry.
talked through it. No, it's okay. I want to go back to the olive oil thing. Okay, remember that, folks, olive oil, even extra virgin olive oil, is an acid. So even though it's really light, if you leave it in too long, it's going to damage the
Well,
coin.
my thing
right?
with that was you used to be able to buy at coin shops, and I haven't seen it in a long time. You used to be able to buy them on eBay too. Encrusted Roman coins where they had like this, just blocks and blocks of these Roman coins that were just stuck together,
Mhm.
and you couldn't get them apart. And the instruction, I mean, they flat out said mineral oil or olive oil, and it took the one I did it, and it took 9 months before coins started popping off that. And then within like a year, they got pretty nice. Some of them could even be identified.
Well, I have another example, the opposite direction of that. The one and only, and first, it was the first and one and only ancient coin I ever bought. It was a tiny little thing,
What is my
and I couldn't tell what it was. It was so nasty. And I put it in olive oil, and I think it was about 6 months later.
And it was
I
gone.
would check it every once in a while. I would change the olive oil. I came back and I picked that thing up, and it absolutely disintegrated in my hand.
Yeah. Yeah. This was to soften the concrete, and it
Yeah.
did work.
Mine was gone.
No,
I
it's an
still
acid.
have- I still have it in a flip, a little piece of it that was saved.
Now, what about mineral oil?
Same basic thing.
Has mineral oil got acid in it?
Yeah, it's the same basic thing. So again, it's important to understand. Well, and the other thing is when you look at something, when you're trying to conserve, the thing you need to be concerned with is its neutrality. When we're talking about pH, acid, basey, right? If it's too basey, it can have adverse effect with filigree and things, especially copper. You want to watch that. If it's too acidic, you're talking about damaging because it'll actually eat away the surface of the coin. So when you're looking at things, you want to look at the acidic content. And as your blue said, olive oil is about 83% oleic acid. Again, even though it's extra virgin olive oil and it's safer than using regular olive oil, you're still talking about something when you're looking at the acidic rating that is something like 3.2 or something like that. Whereas if you're looking basic, especially like how many people go to the grocery store and they buy pH water that's 8.3 or 9 or 10, right? The base in that is to offset some of those balances. It helps you absorb the water faster. But again, you go too basic, you end up damaging because it permeates quicker. And so it permeates the level of the coin, gets in and actually damages the coin from the inside out. So when you're talking about cleaning, any kind of conservation, you really want to look at the neutrality of the item that you're cleaning with. Try to stay as neutral to 7. 7 is pH neutral. That's homeostatic, right? That's where you have a balance between acidic and basic. So try to find whatever it is. Look at the acidic content, look at the acidic level, look at that pH balance, and you really want to find something as close to 7 as possible. Because that, if it's a 7.2, 7.4, whatever, over time, you're still leaning more acidic. So you want to watch that pH balance. It's really important that you do that. Bradley, what's up, brother? That's B-Rad over on the other side. Just popped in, said howdy, howdy. Good to see you, bud.
Yeah, Mark, I've said that multiple times. Like, ultimately, at the end of the day, none of us truly own our coins. We are just safe keepers for the next person that will eventually own them. So we kind of have, you own it for a little while. I feel like I have a responsibility to keep mine as safe as I can for the next person. But unless they're like brand spanking new coins, the zinc coins, because they won't be around for any amount of time. But yeah.
It is neat when you get a nice roll of the early zinc coins. And I'm surprised they haven't went up in value because they're really hard to get that are nice.
They're
now.
really pretty when you dump them into a bank bag to
I'm talking about the 80s stuff that used to, it's hard to find a good roll of it now.
No, it is. Yeah, you're right.
I just bought a mint bag of 89D. That's one of the batches of rolls that's coming. Be interesting.
And, and I think that they've done something when the Shield Sense came out.
They did.
I have a hard time.
No longer makes their planchets. The Mint outsources their planchets now.
Yeah, and I think that they are not all created equal.
They are not. Well, they don't fit in my hand. They're smaller, I think, than the original ones were. I didn't weigh them. Never weighed like a new one towards to like.
I think that the old ones, I think the zinc before it's plated, I think that the old ones had more copper included in that, mixed in with the zinc. I think that the bonding was better.
They kind of look like a Lincoln Cent still, where the new ones, they're real flat and I don't know, there's no real relief to them.
Well, they had to add a little bit of copper to the zinc planchets. In the very beginning, when they first started experimenting with them, the copper plating was not bonding.
Right, that's why the bubbles are there.
Yeah. So they ended up having to do a different formula and adding more copper to the zinc planchet itself.
Hey, Whisker Stickers, just subscribe. Thanks, Whisker Stickers, for the subscription. I appreciate you. Sorry to talk over you, Paula, but I had a new subscriber.
Okay. That's why, even though the Shield Sense, I think that, I don't know, you don't see a whole lot of plating split with those.
You don't.
Like you do. Yeah, in the earlier ones. So they're doing something is different. They can do whatever they want and not tell us. But.
Yeah, and again, woohoo, the doctor's in the house. He says, I've given thought to what will happen when my collection when I can't look after it anymore. Even if I don't plan on shuffling off this mortal coil anytime soon, typing out instructions is hard. And that's fact. One thing that
weigh the same, but they look different.
Say again.
I weighed early 80s zinc cent to a brand new 2024, and they do weigh the same. They sure don't.
Well, they weigh the same.
Oh, but they're manufactured differently.
But there is something different about them.
They're thinner. I don't have a mic here, but I can see with my eye that they're thinner. I think that
there's a difference in the zinc core, which probably is why they weigh the same. They have to. To tweak. They have to.
There's a new one. There's an old one.
Mm-hmm.
They look totally different as far as the plating color. You're right. The plating is almost like chrome plating on the new ones.
It's crazy.
In the old ones, it almost looks like it's spray painted on. It's kind of matte.
I've seen early 80s cents that at first glance look like they could be copper cents.
Yeah, that one I had in my hand right there.
Mm-hmm.
It actually looked, it was very nice.
And you don't
And that's the
you
thing.
can't mistake that with the new ones. Like
The
I mean,
82 large date zinc, there's some really beautiful coins.
there
Yeah.
are that, yeah.
Yeah, and those were the first ones to be struck.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, who was that? Azure. Everyone has the assets to pass on to their heirs a will and trust, durable power of attorney. That is true, but what a lot of people don't do, what
are
people
their heirs going to do with what they pass on to them?
Exactly. So, what is the true value of the items that are there? One of the most difficult things in my realm, one of the most difficult things that I have issue with, is documenting the coins and letting people know exactly what I have in my collection or in my stack.
And
right.
That would be impossible for me to do.
And so
well, you can't. So all you can really do is document what you paid for it. You can document what it's valued at that time that you're writing that list. But by the time your family receives that stuff, the value is going to be totally different.
It will be. But the thing is so here's the reason that I say this is I've had people ask me to look at their collections. And I've had people who had grandfathers who actually knew what the hell that they were doing. They just didn't document anything. I've had fathers who left stuff to their kids that had, thousands of dollars worth of really beautiful coins. And then I've had grandfathers who left pocket change in, 5-gallon water jugs because they're like, one day this is going to be, and it's like, well, they don't know what they have in there. So what are they going to do with it? They're going to take it to a coin star. The problem is that grandfather was collecting those coins for, for 60 reasons. Years, 70 years, and they've got 4 of these big things. Who's going to go through those? Right. See, so the problem isn't that, you can't document everything, but it's important that people kind of understand. Like, so when my buddy called me, he says, "Hey, I got my grandfather's coin collection," and I was like, "Oh Lord, here we go. I'm going to get another picture of water jugs, right?" And he's like, "But I've never seen these designs." And the first 3 pictures that he sent me were a capped bust, $50. Hold on, it was a seated $50, a capped bust quarter. And I can't remember what the other coin was. I want to say it was like a 2-cent piece or something like that. And I was like, holy crap. I think your granddad had some good stuff there. Let's take time and let's look at it. But he had no idea what it was. It wasn't listed anywhere. It wasn't written down anywhere. They had no idea what they had. If we really want to be great stewards of our collections, we need to give the people that come behind us some idea of what we have.
Exactly.
Right.
That was
and that
be my next point.
Yeah.
Just give them as much information
yeah,
as you
so
can.
Hey, here's the designer, here's the year, this was the mintage. Leave them a red book and put stickies in it and say, I've stickied some of the major coins so you can see kind of what's going on here. I can't promise you that the value is going to be the same.
Yeah,
but
don't look at the videos.
Here's the coin, right? They can go back, they can look at it and go, well, holy crap. There were only like 10,000 of these. That's not very many. Then they go back and they look at the next one and go, holy cow, there were 200,000 of those. This 10,000 one must be pretty, whatever. And I'm terrible at doing that. I got a whole bunch of stuff sitting on my desk here that I just came in and I'm like, I've got to document this stuff and do that. But it's been sitting here for 3 days and I still haven't touched it. But my family, if my wife goes to the place that I store that's not at my house, and goes to pick up everything, she's not going to have any clue of what that stuff is. Just like my documents. Now my documents are something totally different. I have the documents in my document safe, which has marriage certificates and birth certificates and stuff like that. And they're labeled in holders and I just slide this stuff in. They're filed, right? But we need to do the same thing with our coins. especially if we have highly collectible items. When we're talking about these slabs, like the slab that Eric has here, somebody looks at this, they may see this and go, oh my God, I got a treasure, right? It's a slab coin. This is an error. It says error on it. It says, right, it's clean, but it's in a slab. It must be valuable. How
Not
many
so
people,
much.
how many people have, I just try to document something and leave something, because it doesn't matter what's in your will. If they don't
All
know what
my
it
good
is,
stuff
it doesn't help them.
is segregated kind of, but like most, like the rolls, I've told my wife knows who to get a hold of. My son knows who to get a hold of. And I says, in worst case, just take it to the bank. A lot of them are just that, basically pennies to go to the bank.
Yeah.
So, I mean, somebody will find a whole bunch of wheat pennies. Could you see that box?
Well, if you really don't like someone, you could tell your kids, now, if anything ever happens to me, get a hold of this person and they'll know exactly what to do. And then just don't label anything.
Could you imagine Chuck or Eric saying, hey, upon my death, I want you to send all these pennies to Paula.
I said, now, T, there's a
that'd
girl
be
on
hilarious.
YouTube. Her channel name is Marley and T. And she'll be happy to look through all of this exonumia and elongated scent stuff and all of this other stuff that I have. She'll be happy to look through it.
Paula's got
she'll
jokes.
Tell you exactly what it is.
Is there elongated scent channels on YouTube?
Oh yeah.
I'm sure there probably are.
Yeah, there's a whole collecting group, and you've got memberships, and they got charters.
I'm part of the elongated scent collectors club.
Yeah, it's not just a club. I mean, they got full on charter. They have everything. Like it's a big deal. A lot of people collect those things.
And taking it to the Dallas Bank and taking like all 30,000 rolls, because I mean at least 2,000 of them are wheat rolls, wheat rolls, and dumping them there. And Rob Fine Treasure says this must be a collection dump for the last 350 boxes.
Yeah.
Yeah, as your one thing about as yours listing, so folks, as yours listing some really good information in chat talking about
too many people, even though they know about it, they don't
do this kind of stuff.
I'm only partially done, and I need to do it because I'm at that age where it all needs to be done.
Yeah, and so as yours putting some really good information in here, and again, for those who are looking at it in portrait mode, I'm going to copy that stuff across. These are items that are extremely important to have. So,
yeah, the downside, the living trust, if you have a reliable beneficiary, you're good. It's when people start fighting that it turns bad.
Well, and again, when you're talking about last will and testaments, and you're talking about property and things like that, the best thing that you can do is to have a conservator of your will that actually really understands what your wishes are and what your intents are. Just having it in a piece of paper just opens up all sorts of rooms for fighting. I had an uncle who was quite well off. He had a company in California that he started early 70s, multi-million-dollar company. And what he did is he created crates and packaging containers for the fruit industry and the food industry there in California. And upon his death, he was worth multi-million dollars. And he had left some family members some money in his will. They had left a trust and laid it all out, but he didn't have a conservator. He had an attorney that were reviewing things. And so they were looking over things. He had his insurance company put clauses in that every transaction or every rebuttal needs to be reviewed by this, by this attorney, this law group. And our family fought. Very kind, loving family. We get together, great family reunions. Our family fought for years over his money. So
Isn't
just
that terrible?
because
It brings the best out in people, doesn't it?
just because you get along and just because you do whatever, he left my mom, he classified her as his favorite niece. He left my mom a sum of money, and as he was dying, like the day he was dying, his wife and daughter went through and changed a whole bunch of documents, and then he was not in the right frame of mind, and had him sign as close as he could, the best as he could, turning everything over to them. And so just because you have this stuff in place doesn't necessarily 100% protect you. You need to have a good conservator of your will. But in order to do that, you have to document what your wishes are. You have to document what you have. We're talking about slab coins today, right? So if you have things of high value, you need to make sure people know this. Hey, Aunt, what's going on, bud? You need to make sure you need to make sure that
boxes of my junk slabbed coins.
What I will probably do is if I, Lord willing, have some idea, or if I get old enough and know that, like, I'm not going to be around forever, I will probably sell everything, my books, my coins, everything, and turn it into like silver and gold. And then I can easily divide it up, amongst my children and my grandchildren, and they'll have something that probably will mean more to them than any of my coins or my books. Because nobody in my family gives a crap about my coins. So, but they would appreciate probably silver and gold.
Eric and I have a really good friend. I'm not going to say his name, but you'll know it when I talk about it, who has a difficult time with doing certain things, who absolutely loves coins, just looking through them, having them. And his family's very much the same. They're not that engaged. So he has a bunch of stuff that he wants to do for his grandson, and really generate and benefit him. But the problem is when it's done, they're not really interested in it. Doesn't matter that he has some coins that are really cool. Doesn't matter that he's got some gold coins.
It's not just gold coins. He's got, you wouldn't believe it.
He's got some amazing stuff. But they're just not interested.
He's got a plethora of unamazing stuff.
Well, yeah.
Like
that's what I have.
Star note bills that he's pulled out of circulation for 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
okay,
it's like, he says, are these worth anything? I says, yeah, they're worth $100. Most of them.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't go through all of them.
So again, when you look,
thinks they're really going to be worth something in the future. And you know what? He loves them. The one thing I can say about him is he loves all that stuff.
Yeah, he truly loves numismatics. Genuinely loves numismatics.
He loves everything to do about money.
Yeah, but you got to really understand that just because you have that passion for it, you got to remember what you're leaving to people. And so going through making sure you understand what's going on and understand what you have. But this is where we say this, and Paula has said this, I've said this. You'll hear it on Livecoin Q&A. You have to have trusted partners. You have to have people that you can come along and people that you can trust to assist you in, if the worst were to happen, people who can come alongside. I have in my book, in my safe and in my deposit box and in my offshore savings, I have instruction with names, addresses, telephone numbers, all their private information of who is to be contacted for these particular items. So whether
I think that is probably the most practical thing and the smartest thing, because our dear friend Ken Peavy, who did videos on how to document things and how to, catalog your collection and all of this great information on what to do with for your family members in case anything ever happened to you. He did amazing videos and informational stuff. He followed 0% of his own advice. But what he did
Yeah.
do is his family knew people to contact if
Yep.
anything ever happened to him.
Yep.
And so they had, myself and Shay and the people that they could trust, that Ken trusted, that could help them find out what they had, what he had, what was, could make some sense out of all of his nonsense. Because he had jars. I mean, not jars. He had coffee cans full of coins, and they had no clue what was what. Because Ken saved every single die chip he ever found. He would toss it into a coffee can. Oh, look at that. That's cool. Okay, ting, there it goes into the coffee can.
Hi, Joe.
But yeah, I mean, people and myself, like I have no document. I save some receipts, but I don't have documentation of what is what in my collection. I will tell you to do it, but I don't follow my own advice.
I couldn't possibly do it. There's not enough hours in my life left
right
to do it anymore.
Right.
It's too late for me. Don't be me.
Exactly.
That's my advice.
I'll tell you what the smart thing to do is, but I've followed 0% of my own advice when it comes to that kind of stuff. So it is very important at the end of the day that you have at least a couple trusted people that will outlive you that you can tell your family in case of emergency.
Yeah, call
this
these
is
people.
who you contact. Yeah.
That's kind of what I've done.
And hope that they outlive you.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Woohoo said Numista has been a good resource for cataloging. I use Numista a lot when people ask me about coins, but I will tell people, and I'll say this live. I am not the person to ask about errors and varieties. I will look up what I can, but I'm going to refer you to Paula and them. I'm not the person to talk to about value, but I will look it up and then I will give you some people to talk to. I'm not the person to talk to about organization because I am completely disorganized when it comes to my own stuff. But I will look up and give you practices and then connect you with somebody who can help you understand it.
There's no one right way of doing it.
No,
yeah.
But like I deal with Tiger Stacker and Tiger, I talk about him a lot. That man catalogs everything. He keeps a spreadsheet. He marks his coins. Like he truly 100% genuinely practices what he preaches.
So when he says, I've got this, he knows what drawer it's in and everything.
Yes. And he knows exactly where to find it. He knows exactly what's going on. But those are rarities. A lot of people aren't like that. But what I do take from him and what I have gleaned from him was exactly what we just talked about. Make sure you have, and this doesn't, folks, we're talking about coins and slabs and stuff like that. I'm talking about anything collectible or anything of value. Azure has been good talking about financial, money markets, protecting your assets, your wealth, property. Anything like that, you need to have trusted partners in your life that you can give your family to, and you know that they will take care of you. This is why it's important to have a conservator, somebody who genuinely understands your wishes. Everybody needs to have somebody, doesn't matter what they're doing. If you're talking about gold, silver, platinum, palladium, futures, stock markets, IRAs, doesn't matter. Find a good conservator. That conservator can be a paid entity who is there to execute legally the requirements of that. They follow it to the letter of the law. Or find somebody that you genuinely trust. Trust.
That would be cool, Eric.
Yeah.
Put me in the middle of all those pennies. Oh, Lord.
Oh, my God.
Oh, dude, it would crush you. They would.
Oh, my gosh.
It would ooze out of the casket. That'd be gross.
The acid would melt everything all together in this big coagulated blob.
Oh, that's horrible.
Oh, you know what's funny though? In 1,000 years, they would be like, "This man was king of whatever."
That's right. He was a king.
That's terrible.
Oh, who is this Lincoln that is molded to his forehead? Yeah. No,
Ugh,
that's kind of a disturbing thought, actually.
It is.
it really
But
is.
it's my disturbing thought now.
It's like Ken used to say when he used to tell us, when I die, I want you to lay me out and cover me in cold slaw, and then have a
Have the pig party.
picnic or whatever he would say, have a party or whatever, and you
Yeah.
can all eat cold slaw off of me. I'm like, oh, stop it,
That's nasty.
you sicko. He was a sick
That's
man.
that's like what is it? What's that movie? With the dead guy, Weekend at Bernie's.
Weekend at Bernie's. Oh my gosh. You mean the guy that like just miraculously never decomposed? Yeah. Wasn't that special?
Yeah. That was a very it was funny, but it was disturbing as hell. Like the general thought process of that whole thing was
Isn't that, I think we have somebody like that in the White House right now. But anyway, I digress.
Yeah, but I don't think it's going to matter who's in the White House. I heard the best one yesterday. One's delusional and the other one is demented.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't have a good choice. That's as political as I get. And that wasn't my opinion. That was somebody else, because I actually don't care who's in the White House. I think they're both nerds.
EMR was like, Ken had a bit of
the crypt keeper.
Right.
Yeah. Ken had a bit of a dark side is an understatement, EMR says.
He definitely had a dark side.
But you know what? He was pretty entertaining. He was one of the few people.
Oh, A-Track, that's gross.
You'd get up because you couldn't sleep, and he'd be doing a live stream at 3:00 in the morning.
About life on Mars, about populating Mars.
Or he'd just be searching coins, talking about some random stuff.
Yeah. He was a genius.
Pedro.
Ken was a genius.
Oh, that's horrible. You guys see for Pedro's comment?
I did. Yeah, I tried to ignore it.
I told my children when I die they need to taxidermy me and pull out every Christmas or 4th of July.
What about Halloween?
Oh, that's freaking hilarious.
Halloween.
Oh, you know how disturbing that would be? Oh my God.
You know, when that Weekend in Bernie's came out, I'm surprised that somebody didn't try to emulate it.
Oh, I'm sure somebody did. Some sicko somewhere probably did. I'm sure some sicko somewhere did. I may have also made that joke at one time or another, says Ant.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's that's funny. I honestly asked my wife, we have a dog that has bladder cancer. And we got this dog probably 6 months after we got married. And she's getting old, and we're starting to count down the time because we know we're not going to have her very long. But I asked my wife if she wanted to do that. She looked at me. She's like, "Ooh."
Oh, stop it.
I had a friend that did his he had a hunting dog.
Oh,
German
stop
short hair.
it.
I have friends that have done it.
Pheasant that the dog actually, he has a picture of the dog pointing at this pheasant. So he had the taxidermy done on a pheasant. And then about 4 years later, he had taxidermy done on the dog pointing at the pheasant that the dog's in. Then he has the picture on the mount.
Oh my God.
That's
I thought it was kind of weird, but he loves it. And you know what? It's his living room.
Right.
So what would be funny? Now you got me into thinking this morbid, wacko sense of.
Is that nutmeg?
You know,
oh God.
You know that fish? Don't weigh. Be happy. Put one of those in a taxidermied animal, and every once in a while, push the button when you have a guest. And have it turn its head and look at you. That'd be horrible. Oh, sorry. I don't know where we got off. We definitely went down
I don't know. What are we talking about? Why? I thought this stream was about to slab or not to slab.
Well, we're talking about slabbing animals. Like slab crickets.
Yeah. Ooh, there we go.
Yeah, get me graded. Put me in a slab.
Put me in a slab. Oh. All right. I think, the dark side is coming out. Yeah. We definitely will. What's the phrase? went off the rails on this one. Yes.
It happens.
Yeah.
This crew, we tangent a lot.
But that's the
It's
thing
typical.
about Sundays, right? So we did talk about it. We talked about the grading. We talked about prices. I've had the sheets up so that you can kind of get a feel. I've showed all three in the description. The stuff is listed. So we talk about it. But Sundays are about whatever. It's general chit chat, right? We talk about whatever is. Normally on Sundays, it's Paula and Eric hour. And I just sit here like, I'll be back. I need coffee.
It's true.
As we do
But-
the numismatic walk of shame.
I will tell you that some of the conversations that we've had, we've been able to answer really solid questions for people. We've been able to have people identify things. We've been able to get people laughing. I've had people afterwards. I mean, Eric sent me a message one day after the stream going, I don't know what the hell happened in this stream, but I really enjoyed it. I've had other people say the same thing. You guys are just off the rail. I mean, what are we talking about today? Like, really, what was the topic? It was a great stream, but I can't tell you why it was a great stream. Because sometimes it's just fun to talk about stuff. It's fun to go through, see what people have in here. So Sundays, I really don't mind. Sundays kind of, that's what the whole purpose is, the whole premise, to talk about whatever the hell tickles our fancy. And normally it's about coins. Normally. I don't know how the hell we got into taxidermy and eating coleslaw off of Ken Peavy.
I don't know.
Right? This is going to go down in history.
Yeah. But again, well, it's still coin related, I guess. But yeah, I mean, so I don't mind having these discussions and doing this because, again, sometimes random is good, you know? I'm all about going off the rails. I'm glad I found this channel. It's been informative and fun. Thanks, Eric. Those kind of comments are the best things I can get. Numismatics, it's hard to make numismatics fun.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Easy.
No,
I
it's
mean,
hard to make
it
numismatics
depends.
fun.
Fun, yes, but relaxing and enjoyable, I consider that fun. It's very easy to make that. That's why I do it.
Well, but again, that's personal, right? So when you're talking about doing a channel, it's fun. You can talk, you can laugh, you can joke, but to make, I mean, even it's hard to make some things fun. It really is, especially when you are combating misinformation.
Yeah,
And you're
that'll never
instructing.
go away.
It's
That
hard
is
to
going
make
be
that
our
stuff fun,
job.
right?
we
And
die.
so I enjoy doing this. I enjoy laughing and joking and telling jokes and, you know, the stupid dad jokes, but I enjoy having you guys up because it's when passion over a topic is relevant and evident, then people want to know what you're passionate about. People really want to understand the importance. And so that's the whole purpose of what Sunday's streams are about. You know, talk about stuff. Hey, Sorcerer Stan came over to the portrait side and said hi to Siren. That's so nice. But yeah, it's just important to me for this to be fun. One reason that I want to engage is, and I wish the game was working, but to be able to have people engage and talk and chat and do stuff. There's a lot of good conversations that are happening in chat as well as up here with you two. So just let it go. I mean, you know, that's what I really do enjoy this. And with that, I'm probably going to step away and grab some more coffee.
All right. Does that mean it's over, or does that mean we just have to go on a tangent?
No, it just means you two probably need to start a tangent and
Coin roll.
So,
hunting.
and that depends on so SMS is, I think is it PC, one of the PCGS or NGC uses SMS. The other one uses SP for those.
SPS.
I don't like
That's
that
right.
I don't like that they call them SMS. But I mean, to each their own. But yeah, it depends on their. So the strikes, the strikes are the same, I believe, but so they're not proof strikes. They're somewhere in between, and I think it's more of how the planchets are made on those
It is.
satin. Yeah, I think it's more how the planchets are done, but I don't think. Yeah,
So you want to explain what SMS and
I think
SP
that's the
stand for?
only difference between those satin mint sets and the regular mint sets is that the planchets are done differently. So they have like
they
a
were
satin
burnished
finish.
instead of
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they have that satin finish to them.
And then like the satin mint sets in 2009, they had copper planchets instead of
Right.
zinc.
The mint and the proof
Yeah.
sets had the copper.
Not all the
They
mint.
had
You had to get the satin one, I thought.
No, well, that's the only one there was.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah, the mint sets and the proof sets both had the original copper, tin, and zinc from 09. The original composition.
All right, the copper coins were actually sold in a set. Satin Lincoln set. Never knew that.
And they were also in the mint sets.
And they were also in the mint set. I'm looking at that right now too.
Yeah.
You know, I can't believe I never bought any of those.
Which ones?
2009,
And
I
every
bought
once in a
rolls,
while-
but I never bought any of the mint sets to get the copper coins.
Every once in a while, we get people who find them in their change, and they'll say, why does this 09 weigh 3.1 or
And
whatever?
that crazy dedication, because that means they're weighing every coin.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Is that dirty
And
water?
I consider myself crazy dedicated, but I only weigh coins when I hear it clink funny or it looks funny, or you know what I'm saying? I never just weigh every coin.
I think maybe they do because it has a different appearance because it's a satin. Maybe they go, why does this look different? And so they start like.
But there are a ton of people that just are searching for an 82D small date copper penny.
Or the 83 or the 89.
Right. Any one of those. But in search for more than that, that's my piece of advice, because you're going blind for something that you're never going to find. Almost the chances of it, you have a chance of finding just about any other coin besides that.
And that goes back to setting something aside and coming back to it. Don't spend, if you find a coin that looks weird to you and you're showing it to everybody and asking everybody's opinions or whatever else, don't do that. Just if you can't find the information on it, and well, my first suggestion is send a picture to the live coin Q&A. But beyond that, if you don't want to do that, set it aside and come back to it when you've got more knowledge, when you've learned more about the minting process. And
Ray, there's always a chance.
Yeah, because if you find something and you go, gosh, that looks weird, or that looks different.
And that's usually, it sounds weird. There is something that usually that makes me put it on a scale. But I do know my neighbor, they're from Iowa, and their son is a huge penny searcher. And I told him, I says, there's a lot more to look for than that. I says, if you find that, you're going to be in good shape. I mean, it's going to be a good financial day for you. But the chances of, you could look and find 5,000 $5 coins and never find that.
Exactly.
That's what we were talking about coin hunting yesterday. And somehow Frosty pulled up a 1983 and a 1976 penny that was on his desk. And it made me think, because it was kind of, you could hit it rich type thing yesterday. And what's the chances of coin roll hunting? And I had just found this, and it was like, wow, this is really nice. And I might be able to get $5 for it. Matter of fact, I was going to have it like a what do they call it? A pseudonym or a person that make a fake identity and send it to Coin Q&A.
Yeah.
You should. I bet you'll get the right answer.
Oh, I bet I would. You guys are right. I watch you guys. I do watch every week. I may not be live every week, but you're usually right on everything. I don't.
We try. And you know what? There are lots of there. So the last couple weeks, I have had more times in the email where I have had to tell somebody, I just can't give you an answer because I can't be 100% certain just by your picture.
Right.
And I've asked, and I've even asked other people, and they're the same thing. They
And
they
that's
can't.
a Facebook problem. So many people are using, I mean, there's nothing wrong with using a cheap $10 endoscope microscope camera.
Right.
But what you're trying to show doesn't, somebody who hasn't, you've seen it, you've looked at the coin under a loop, so you're seeing it. They might not see it.
Yeah.
Pictures are very, very hard. And I can tell you, I photograph a lot of coins. And some days it's easy and the coins look great. And I'm going through listings yesterday and I'm like, oh my God, those are my pictures. They're nasty. How can I got to retake them, I feel like.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, it's very difficult to do something from a picture. And
It
so
is,
I hope
but
people understand that that's not a no. You're not getting shot down, but
right.
You just can't do it.
And there are some things that so several times we've had people send coins in to somebody like to Joe or to Mike Diamond or to Ken Potter. Several times we've had them do that. If I think that there's a chance that it could be something special.
There's a chance.
You're saying there's a chance, then that's what I'll do. It does take a lot of practice looking. It's a skill. It really is to diagnose a coin from a photograph. And we have looked at thousands upon thousands of photographs of coins, and it's taken practice. Because sometimes you can't tell if it's incuse or obtuse. Just kidding. Obtuse isn't a thing. Obtuse isn't a thing.
It is. If it's a triangle.
Well, if it's, or somebody that just
I have people that are obtuse.
That kind of person. But,
so Eric, on the screen, I'm showing.
I had to throw that in there. But
on the
I wanted
screen,
to get back to, I wanted to address something that Kevin said up in the chat. How are you supposed to learn if you don't ask around?
That's right, so, Kevin.
That is right. But let me ask you a question, people. So you ask around and you get 50 answers and several of them are different. How do you know which one is the right one? So if you're just asking around willy-nilly, you are going to get 50 different answers. You have to know who to ask. That's as important as what you're asking, knowing
Smart
who to
kid,
ask.
vote for Pedro.
I get it all the time on Facebook. I see all the time on Facebook somebody posting in 20 different groups the same coin, and they get.
I don't participate.
But the problem with that is that they're more confused after they have posted in all those groups than they were when they first started.
And they're kicked out of 7 of them.
Right, because they
get irate because one person said, "Oh man, you got a ringer there," and
yes,
19 other people say it's a parking lot coin, it's garbage.
Exactly, because you are going to get people who are going to tell you that coin, you should send that in to be graded. It's worth a lot of money, so that's special. And then you're going to get the people who know what they're talking about that tell you, no, sorry, it's damaged. Move along. You can spend it, whatever. So now who are you going to listen to? Your human nature is going to tell you to listen to the person that told you it's a great coin.
Yep.
Yeah, I can tell you that I get a lot of emails still to this day. 90% of them are always about 82D small date coppers, and there's about 5% about copper 43 cents.
Mm-hmm.
And
don't forget the 64 SMS. Don't forget the 64.
I don't get that one that often.
Oh, we do.
Or the 69 double die.
And I've actually, we are going to take a picture of that. So there is some because there is diagnostic markers on that die pair. So then you can say, go look at this listing. If it has these markers, then you might be onto something.
But they'll find one that's close. They'll say, well, I have this. Isn't this a teardrop on the 4? It looks like a teardrop on the 4.
Yeah, close don't count. I tell that to many people. They'll say, this RPM looks almost like this. I says, almost isn't.
Right.
It is or it isn't. It can't be almost. If it's almost, it's something else.
Exactly.
So now what were you talking about, that eyelid there?
Oh, let me pull that back up.
I don't know what you mean, Kevin. See, you're about to ask around
hold on
now.
just a sec.
I don't know what you mean.
Oh, he was going to ask the same question. What he was basically saying was, if you look at your statement about not asking questions, but then you turn around and you're asked a question, he's just being funny. Yeah, I got where you're going, Kevin. I know your sense of humor. But what
I want you to ask.
They just don't want you to take the coin and be asking people online, right?
Yeah.
It's okay to say, hey, you know, I have this coin, I'm looking at it. What you don't want to do, and I don't have to answer for Paula, but what you don't want to do is say, hey, I found this coin, look at what I got, and then look like a fool because it's damaged.
Yeah, because then you're instantly put on the defensive, you know.
So, Eric, the coin, the thing that I'm showing right now,
yes,
right? This is one of your listings on Coppercoin.
Yes.
So I don't know what I'm looking at, even though I know what I'm looking at.
Okay.
So
you are looking at a doubled eyelid.
Right. And so this is one of those things where when I look at coins, I don't even look at the eyelid. I look at the eye, but I don't ever see these. And I've talked with Eric a number of times about these. I don't see these. And the reason
hard to see it, I think it's because it's kind of got a mark under it that goes northeast. That's not the eyelid. The eyelid is basically just under the other eyelid, going almost the same direction. This is not the best example of that to show what a good doubled eyelid would be.
Right, but my point with
54D 1D01.
My point with showing this is just it's when you're looking at things, look for things that because you can look for everything and miss a lot.
Right. Well, here's
that arrow's not placed in the right place.
That's not my arrow either.
It's this right here. This is what you're looking at right here.
So this is an older picture right here.
Yeah. Yeah. But my point is that if you see somebody looking, first of all, Eric will look at these, Chuck will look at these, they'll go through these and say, oh, double eyelid. All right, outstanding. And I'm like, I have no idea what they're seeing. I don't get it. I've looked and looked and looked. I've looked at the pictures. I just don't see it. So I don't ever look for it. It's not something I waste my time with.
They're like the redheaded stepchild of double dice.
Yeah. And so it's like, okay, well, great, good. You know, if I miss it, I miss it. I'm happy with that. I don't care.
Politically incorrect. Sorry about that.
No, it's fine.
Oh, stop. You're fine.
But again, when you're looking at things, it's important to understand what you're looking for. One thing that Paula has told me a number of times, and I take this to heart, and sometimes I have to go back and step back and say, hold on, what am I doing? And that is, what is it that you see? Like, and she'll ask me, what is it that you see? And she'll ask, because she's always telling me, be careful what you tell people it is, because it might look like two different things and you need to know which one's which. And so I've learned that when people send me coins, am I going to help them? Yes. Hell yes. I'm going to help them. I'm going to look at it. I'm going to say, this is what it appears to me, but I'm going to reach out to Paula, or I'm going to reach out to Ant, or I'm going to reach out to Shay, or I'm going to reach out to Blue Ridge, or I'm just going to send it in. Here's the information. Just send the photos in to Live Coin Q&A. Or I'm going to look at the coin and go, they are never going to be able to determine from this picture. You need to take better quality photos. Send them to me. I'll let you know when you have a good photo, and then you can send it off. So I've learned I need to stop trying to help analyze what an error is and just give them the best opportunity to send it to LiveCoin Q&A to get the correct answer. And that's a limitation within myself.
You can always, if they're sending something to you, you may not know it specifically, but you usually know, yes, it's a type of error, or it is a variety.
Yeah, and then you go,
then you send it to somebody else.
Here's some links. Here's where you can go do now. Yes, you have in my opinion, you have a double die, right? That's what I'll tell you. In my opinion, yes, you have a double die. Now, here's where you can go and see if you can find a match. Here's 3 sites that you can go see if you can find a match.
It has to be exact.
Mint mark,
yep.
If there's a mint mark on the coin, that's your first die marker, right? Look to see if you can match the mint mark position. Then you look for other die.
And that's the best die marker.
It is. If there's a mint mark, that's your first and and your best. You can eliminate 90% of the other listings that way and just narrow it down.
But when you're talking about this stuff, it's important to understand what your own limitations are. And as humans, we don't want to acknowledge those. And I've learned a long time ago that I learned way more from telling people, and I gain more respect by telling people I don't know, than trying to come up with BS answers.
Practice makes perfect.
Yeah. And so
I was always good at this 20 years ago, but since I do it like 80 hours a week now, I see a lot of stuff I would have never saw 20 years ago.
Yeah. So mint mark style, same thing, right? You can can determine a lot. Great example of that is the 16D and the 1909, right?
Yeah. You see a lot of fakes that have the wrong style mint marks.
Yeah. 14D. Isn't that another one that's often used? They use the wrong.
There's a 14D with the wrong style. There's the 1909S. It's very common to have the wrong style mint mark.
Yep. And so mint mark style, mint mark position, looking at those specific serifs, making sure. And again, folks, when you're talking about matching die pairs, it can't be close.
No, it's
close as no cigar. This isn't a hand grenade.
And that's the one thing I hear from people. Yeah, but it's almost the same.
Then it's not the same.
And that is another kind of like, they don't like to hear that because it takes an answer out. And it's just, you know, do this to relax and have fun. So if you're frustrated with it, set it aside and pick it up another day. Go on and move on to something else. That's my advice too, is don't beat yourself up because you can't find something, because there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of die pairs that aren't listed.
And I'm going to say it, varieties are not for everyone.
Agree.
A lot of people get into this hobby and they think it's going to be easy and they're going to find something right off the bat and they're going to make money and blah, blah, blah. And they don't understand
that's
that they're
the first
really
mistake right there. Thinking they're going to make money because it's a money pit.
Mm-hmm. And there really is a lot that goes into learning. There's a lot that goes up there. Everybody has a different learning curve. Some people never get it. Like it's just not in their wheelhouse. They never get it. And maybe that they need to find a different area in numismatics that they enjoy doing.
Or enjoy something else. And then that's what I'm saying. Lay it down and come back to it. Learn more, learn how to look. You know, one of the biggest problems with people searching coins, and we've still got to do this one day.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we do.
Is learn how to, I mean, a lot of people don't realize what eye relief is, what optics can do. The reason people use expensive loops is usually because of eye relief. So they don't, and another thing, don't close an eye when you look through a loop. Keep both eyes open.
Same with shooting.
That all the time.
Same with playing pool.
Yep.
Yeah.
You
And,
ruin your eyes if you do that.
Well, not only that, but you were binocular for a reason.
yeah, don't use an overpowered loop. Use an underpowered loop first.
Train your eyes.
You need to train your eyes. Well, and if you need the one, get the
Fit,
over, you know,
boo-boo.
like I use a 14X a lot while I'm working. I use a 10X to judge things because I don't list anything I don't see through a 10X. But a lot of times I can take a 14X and just whip it right out, and I've got a good one. It's like $75. It's a Bausch and Lomb. And it's small, and I can just look right at it, and it looks perfect.
And I always suggest to people, if you wear glasses, take your glasses off.
See, I don't.
I do.
I have no correction for vision. I just have astigmatism corrections.
I see, and I have to take my I don't have to, but it works better for me
Yeah.
when I take my glasses off.
Now you
And,
can buy
Um,
prescription
But if it
loops.
doesn't work, if that doesn't work for you, then leave your glasses on.
Yeah.
But
And like I say, there's a learning curve to learning how to look through
Mhm.
magnifiers.
Mhm.
And what magnifiers do you use? Definitely start out on the cheaper end of magnifiers. But if you find yourself that you're going to really get into this, I mean, I've got, I don't know, 12, 13 loops laying around the house. They're all over because you never know when I'm going to need one. And then I've got some packed away in a travel bag. So when I go to a show, I'll use a totally different set than I normally use. And there's a lot of things to learn that, I mean, just like you say, looking through a loop, that's important. When I got into this, I bought a bunch of coins. And the reason I got into this was my son wanted a Whitman penny book. And this would have been 1994. And I was a coin collector when I was a kid. So I bought him the 3 books, and I bought him some wheat pennies and stuff like that to look through. And he had his, 2 weeks of fun. And then all of a sudden I'm like, well, I'm going to put a set of these together and I'm going to do it uncirculated. And then I was like, well, man, I want a roll of everything. So I started buying rolls of everything. Next thing you know, I was full bore into it. So my point here is I searched these rolls. I bought these rolls and I searched them because the guy I bought a bunch of rolls from said, you should really start looking for some variety coins, double dies, and sent me some pictures. I was like, oh, that's great. And I went, I think I found this one. No, and it was machine doubling. So I hadn't learned all that stuff yet. So then I'm finding some stuff and I pull it out and I put the rolls in. And this guy told me that. He says, don't just go get rid of those rolls. He says, save them for a few years, and I just started buying so many rolls that I never got back to them. And when I moved to Florida, there was a box, it was dated like 1995. And I searched those rolls and I found all sorts of stuff that I missed. So just don't, because you don't see something the first time doesn't mean it's not there. And if you're paying, let's say you pay, $25 for a roll of wheat pennies that are BU wheat roll penny. There could be something significant in there that you missed. It might not be worth $100, but it could be worth $5 or $10 or $15 very easily.
The other thing is if you're sorting a bunch of rolls first, and we talked about, hey, Carl, what's going on, bud? We've talked about this a lot on this channel. You've seen it a lot in copper coins. Paula and I have talked about this ever since I first started. If you're going to be searching rolls, preparation is 9/10 of your success. Okay.
And having the right stuff around, having flips,
but it's all preparation,
stapler.
right? So set yourself up for success. Have your resources ready. Sort your coins. Make sure that you're looking at the same coin, the same year, the same mint mark. Okay. Because the more you look at a coin, and again, they talk about repetition. The more you look at a coin, this is normal, this is normal, this is normal, this is normal, this is normal. When something is different, it's going to stand out to you. If you're going 1959, 1952, 1963, 1962, 1945D, 1945P, 1934S, 1921P, if you're doing that, you have no rhythm to
Me too,
understanding dies. You have no, you're bouncing back and forth. You're spending a bunch of time. You're forgetting what you've seen before with the other one. So if you're going to be searching coins, like genuinely really getting in, I have a 62p I've looked at probably 3 times. 2 times I didn't find anything in the roll. The 3rd time I found something, right? So you want to go through and look at a couple items. And I keep this here because I'm like, I'm going to go through it again eventually. But set yourself up, sort your coins, put them together. Is Amanda still here? If Amanda was still here, she told me to do something when I first started, and we were going through, Paula, do you remember we were going through and doing separation? And she's like, go through your 54Ss. You had 2 varieties. You walked right over them.
Mm-hmm.
And as I went back through and I pulled them because I was stacking them up, and we were just, they're like, you're going through these so fast, you're not doing anything. And I'm like, I'm sorting these. And it was like, oh, it's a good practice. You should do that. You know, go ahead and continue. Now we know what you're doing. But she said, stop and go back to your 54. So we went back to 54Ss and we went through 3 of them. The item, I didn't see it when I was sorting them, but the item was so evident. It's the one that has the little S shape that looked like the little squiggly, like the Mexican.
Oh, coming off the 5?
Right, coming off the 5, right? And it was like, oh my God, it's right there. Like I didn't even see it. If you take time and you do, again, I said at the beginning of the stream, Lincoln said if I had 3 hours to cut down a tree, I would spend the first 2 hours sharpening the blade. Get your tools together, organize and structure yourself in a manner in which is going to set you up for the best success. Sort your coins. If you have, I've got 4 rolls of coins here. If they're different dates, then I need to separate those by date and mint mark. And then pull up my resources, pull up that date, pull up that mint mark, look at the items that are there, and
those?
Start with the mint mark. Right?
Now, I'll say, I just want to interject something real quick. After you've done this for a long time and done it a lot, you don't necessarily have to do that anymore.
What's up, Robert Bruce?
When you start getting used to it and you're familiar with design changes and what year is supposed to look like what and what you're looking for, then you won't necessarily have to, you can kind of put that step to the side.
Yeah, but again, we're talking about setting yourself up for success, right?
That's right.
Yeah,
when you watch
everything you need to do the job properly is kind of important.
Yes.
Yeah, you're not going to start cooking a meal without a stove or without fire or without without a pan. So get your tools together, right? And once you have that set up, then start doing what it is. The same happens here in coin collecting. And don't be searching nickels, pennies, dimes, quarters at the same time either. Choose a denomination, get yourself set up, and set yourself up for the best success.
I actually use a placemat, HVAC residential basics. My wife is a quilter and she makes me placemats and little mats and little pads and stuff like that. I've never used a coin roll hunting pad.
Yeah, I think he's talking more about like
Rob's mats and stuff like that.
Yeah, and those are fine.
Those are like giant mouse pads, aren't they?
Yeah, they're giant mouse pads, and those are fine. The information on them most of the time is incomplete. Like the listings on there are limited.
Well, a lot of people only search for that stuff. They
have like maybe the cherry pickers.
But like I said, once you find one,
the larger varieties.
That's what I always say when people like with machine doubling. Mm-hmm. I always say once you find a true class 2 double die, it will click in your brain. You'll go, got it, and you will never confuse machine doubling with that again.
Right.
Oh,
my biggest problem with those mats is that a lot of people who are new will buy those mats and they only look for the things that are listed on those mats, and that sets you up for failure.
Yeah,
because those are bigger varieties and they're the more valuable varieties and they're the harder to find stuff.
Yeah, that's what used to burn me about the $50 hunt is everybody was just hunting for silver. And is silver good? Silver's excellent. It's great to find a silver $50 in your $500 box of $50. But in that box, there could be all sorts of other stuff. I mean, you might find nothing, but you might find 5 other coins, 5 double die reverses. There's so many that are good that you could find, and that's probably worth more than the silver that you're pulling out of there.
Right. Here's another thing with those mats, HVAC. A lot of people, when I first started, right, I printed out a list of like what I should be looking for. And here's what that list said. It said such and such date DDO, such and such date LL, such and such date RPM. I had no freaking clue what any of that meant.
Yeah.
But it would say, look at the L in Liberty, look at In God We Trust, look at this. Okay. So I'm looking at it, but I still don't know what am I looking for. So those mats are good. I like that most of them have key dates and stuff, and they have other information on that. I like that. They'll have mintages of certain coins, but as far as varieties go, don't limit yourself to what's listed on those, and learn like what exactly it is that you're looking for.
And as you find them, like if you find a double eyelid, you will find more double eyelids because you know what they look like. They pop out to you once you see it. You that's what I'm saying. Like a double die. Once you see one that's really good, you'll go, oh my God. And every time even minor ones that most people wouldn't see, after a while, you'll say, oh, that's one.
RPMs.
Like so many.
Paula, what was my epiphany moment? You remember? It was one of the biggest epiphany moments.
What was your epiphany moment?
You and I were talking about something. I had a general concept, and then you explained it to me.
Incused machine doubling.
Incuse and regular, the difference between the machine doubling. And
no, would you call it relieved or relieved?
In relief.
In relief.
It's in relief, I know, but that is so awkward to say.
That's why I tease about somebody that says incuse and obtuse, because there's just not it's incuse and in relief.
Right, and then it's acute and obtuse, right?
Yes. And obtuse can mean, somebody that's disagreeable or whatever too.
Right.
I mean, it definitely does not mean what this person thinks it means.
Yeah. Well, when we were talking about,
can I just real quick, Frostbyte, can
please.
I just clarify one thing real quick?
Yes.
When I was talking about those mats one important thing is to learn those abbreviations, right? Learn what those mean. It goes back to starting at the basics, learning the basics first. It's like riding a bike, trying to ride a bike right off the bat without training wheels. Start from the very beginning. You're only doing yourself a favor by doing that. Start at the beginning, learning the minting process, learning what those abbreviations mean, learning all those basic things before you jump right into like going to your bank and buying a box of cents and looking through them. If you do that, you're just setting yourself up for failure, and you're going to be disappointed.
And there's a lot more to find in a box of cents than wheat cents.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You will enjoy this hobby much more, unless that's what your goal is. Like if that's your goal,
I agree.
That's all you want to know. Like you just want to save wheat cents and that's it. Then that's fine. But you'll have much more fun in this hobby and be much more successful if you put a little bit of time and effort in the beginning.
Yeah, if you do sorting properly and look properly, a box of cents should last you a while.
A long time.
Dan McCumber says, hi, Paula and everybody else.
Hi, Dan.
Hello.
So one thing I want to say to AZ, so when we're talking about mats, I don't use them. And I don't use them because they distract me. Because as I'm looking through, I put something and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, you know what? I need to shift the organization and I need to move them. And then I lose my mind's eye. So I go purchase these rolls of this black felt and I lay the black felt over my desk and I just put my coins on there. and I use it 1 or 2 times, and then I throw it away and use another one.
And, yeah, the mouse pads get oil buildup and stuff on them too.
Yeah.
So
They're great. They're great for cushioning anything that you might drop.
Yeah.
You put some over the top of them.
And for a very valuable coin, it could be advantageous to have cushioning. But if you look at the mint, when they're making coins, those things are shooting out,
Oh yeah.
hitting each other.
Oh, it's horrible.
They're a little more sturdy than you give them credit for.
If you watch the minting process on just business strike coins, you'll understand why high grades are so valuable.
Mm-hmm. Well, especially the bigger the coin, the harder they hit,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Well, and
exactly.
Eric talks about this quite frequently. We're talking about the 14D compared to the 22 when you're talking about high grades, because what is it? The
26S.
26S, excuse me.
Yeah,
Mhm.
26S
Because
is
The high
impossible.
qualities are so rare that the values just go through the roof.
Yeah, at
So-
one time, the highest grade 26S was the most valuable coin in the series. And that's because they used reverse dies until a BU example would literally look like it was totally worn away in the back. There was
Yeah, I was
basically
just
no
going to say,
detail.
you can look at some graded examples of like mint state 64s and you go, what
Yeah.
were they thinking? How can
Yeah.
this be a 64?
And
Like,
the thinking is, and that's actually the proper thinking, because
yep.
that's the way the coins were minted. And
Mhm.
that's why some people say, this coin got a 66 and this coin's only got a 64 and this coin's way nicer, but they're two different dates.
Yeah,
Well, this date is notorious for having beautiful coins
exactly.
and well-struck coins. And
You have to know those little details.
that's it. Like on a Lincoln cent, you have to know where the high spots are on a Lincoln cent to get
Mhm.
good grades. Like at the top of the wheat where it's flat, where it gets it, and people say, well, it's not well struck. And you were right. That technically it's struck the same. It just didn't fill in the gaps.
Mhm.
But that still has limitations to how high they would grade that, because when you get a coin that's perfect and it's real struck in that, it's real well filled in that area. The details are amazing. So it happens. So that's why I think the term "it's not well struck" comes, when actually I think the correct term would be the die didn't fill up totally. You know what I'm saying? Because it
Yep.
kind of squeezes everything and makes it push into all the little crevices.
Mhm.
So I'm pulling something up because of a question in chat. So I want to show this to you. Robert Bruce said he found a 1982D. So I'm going to kind of walk through this because it's 3.1 grams. What you're looking for is you're looking for the 2. Okay. You have large
Not
date
just
and
the 2.
small date, huh?
Not just the 2, like
Well,
the entire thing.
You're
yeah.
looking for
Well,
right,
just
but
separate from small date to large date.
small date, large date, yeah. But you're going to look at the, but the 2 is the one.
You don't have to look any further.
Is the kind of the key thing. So if you're looking at that 1982D and it looks like this, that's large date. Joseph Modzo, whatever. Sorry, can't say your name. Modziok. Just subscribe. Thank you so much, Joseph. I appreciate it. I'm sorry for massacring your name. Please put the phonetic spelling in there. So
And on a small date, you
Yeah.
can fit another 2 behind the 2 and between the 2 and the rim.
In the rim. Yeah,
yeah.
that's great. That's a good one there. I I've never used that one.
Mm-hmm. There's quite a difference in the space between
And
the 2 and the rim.
Out of all the emails I get about 1982D, 50% of them are copper, but they're large date.
Yeah, large date. Mm-hmm. Or they've got the wrong scale and it's rounding up. I see that a lot too.
So
You
Robert,
gotta have a scale that gets down into the hundredths.
yeah. So
Yeah.
Robert, take a really good quality photo. You can do it with your phone. Make sure there's a lot of light. And I can't post links in the portrait side. The links don't work. They've disabled that. So I can't give you a link for you to click on. But there's my email. So you can send that to me and then we'll look at it. And then I can send that. If you think it is the small date, we'll send that over. but we'll have to, there's a couple things you'll look at. You'll look at the positioning. We'll look at some other things.
The odds are not
Right.
in your favor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Your odds
there
in
are
the
seven,
Powerball are probably better than finding
Yeah.
that coin.
there are
Here's the scale
seven
that you need right there.
normal business strike variations for 1982.
Yep.
7 and 1 normal proof. There are, and then you've got the 8th that's the unicorn, but there are
And then
7
that's
normal.
60D penny,
Yep.
which is perfect. But this is the scale you want. They're literally like $12 on Amazon delivered to your door. And it goes down into tenths.
Yep.
You want at least a tenth. 100th would not hurt.
Yeah, that's the 100th.
This is 100. I mean, a thousandth would not hurt. A third digit ain't gonna hurt you.
But you definitely want the 100th.
Yeah. So, but yeah, you can.
And that just shows you that's the same penny, and it came up 300ths lower that time. So these are only good to about plus and minus 500ths.
And there, for copper cents, there's a mint tolerance of plus or minus 0.13 grams. So that's quite a tolerance there for copper cents.
Yeah, you can. That's and again, it's important to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the two is the easiest one to look at when you're looking at the difference between large and small date.
The whole design between the large and the small are different.
Right.
Yeah, you don't even have to bother with the 8, Robert. Just look at the 2.
Yeah, the 2s. Yeah. So now with that, there's a lot of other things to validate its authenticity.
There is.
And those things have to all be in place. Now, those things have to be done. They have to be looked at, right? It's really difficult to do that. They can't be close because if they're close, it's not the right thing. So again, I got the email in there. If you want to, you can fire that off to me. Not a big deal. We'll look at it, then I can fire it up to live coin Q&A or whatnot. Yeah, I know he says he's homebound, so I know that's it's difficult for you to get out and get that to a coin shop. So, but again, my email's there. You're more than welcome to reach out to me, and we'll try to get you all the information that we can.
A coin shop, if you brought in a coin and said, I think I have a 1982D small date copper cent, they probably would not even look at it for you because the odds are that high that you don't have it.
There you go. There's a set right there.
Yeah.
Oh, beauty. So for those of you,
7 normal variations.
So for those of you who are here, if you've never seen these and you want to know more about these, then put a 1 in chat and we can do that. I can make sure that we really break down the differences in this. I can either do it via video or I can do it next weekend on the live stream. And we'll actually break down, we'll look at each one of them, talk about the differences. If that's something you guys really want to do it, let me know and we'll make sure that we coordinate that. Looks like a lot of people like that. Too. I think that would be a great topic for Saturday.
Sure. You can also do the 1960s. Their 60s have large and small dates.
Do all the small and large dates.
Yeah, so do 1974.
74.
I think that's a great idea. So that's what we'll do for next Saturday. Okay.
I'll dig them all out. I got copies of everything.
Sounds like a plan. Well, we have, I'll go ahead and create the live stream after this. I'll do the thumbnail and.
The 74 is I think the hardest one out of all of them.
It is because it's kind of.
And the least valuable.
It is, but it was really just a design change in the middle of the year. It was,
yeah.
And it's not that much smaller. The actual easiest way to tell is the distance between "In God We Trust" and the rim.
Yep.
There's a large gap in between the rim. Yeah. And then usually on the large dates, the 9's fat on the 74s. So.
I mean, it's like Eric said, it's like almost like 50-50 between, the commonality or whatever.
Yeah, it's about
nobody really looks for them, but there is a little difference, and it's fun to learn about. It's a cool party trick.
Yes. To some of us.
If you want to look smart.
Yeah, that's cool. So yeah, that's what we'll do next week.
You know what? Do it Sunday.
Okay.
I should be here Saturday, but there's a
I
possibility.
may not be here next weekend at all. My grandson's in the All-Stars, baseball All-Stars. And so we're going up to Eugene.
Oh, nice. Didn't you
yeah.
do it
Road
last
trip.
year?
Road trip.
We're for wrestling. We went up for wrestling.
All right, just do the same thing. Hang in the room and broadcast from the room.
Yeah, I could do that because he probably won't be. Well, the problem is that I'll be sharing the room with everybody else. Maybe I'll just go down in the lobby and do it. But
Yeah, I should be home Friday night, but if something comes up and I've got to stay, I might be at the fun show on Saturday still. But I doubt it. So I'll commit to Saturday.
I may just go home after his game on Saturday. So
What
we'll
time?
see.
Hold on, let me see. I got to drive somebody to the airport too, so let me see what time they leave.
But it is a fun topic.
Great topic.
It's everybody. Like I think that everybody especially when they first start looking for varieties and stuff, it's the one that everybody knows about. The 82D small date. And it's because there's so many videos out there. If you find this, you're gonna be rich. If you know.
And there was one found, I want to say about a year and a half ago, somewhere in Illinois.
Yeah, it was about a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Somebody found one. And you'll see somebody who put out a video. A viewer of mine found this just recently. That guy's full of crap. He's full of crap.
Well,
And
there's
from what I
a
saw, I
couple
went
of
looking at
those
this.
out there.
I don't think any of them have graded over AU58. So I don't think there's a MS example out there at this point.
Well, and there's one out there that's very questionable.
Which one is
And
that?
maybe I'll pull it up next weekend to show you guys.
Is that the 24?
Very, very questionable.
Is that the 24?
No, the 82D.
Oh yeah, what do you think about that, Paula? I hear there's a 24 extra V out there now.
The what? Oh, I heard that too.
2024D extra V.
Yeah, I heard that too. And it wouldn't surprise me.
I saw a picture of one in the thread, and the guy found one in a box.
Yeah, remember? I think we talked about this last week.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me, and I really hope that that people find more of them, and it turns out to be what they think it is, because that's just going to make me feel like validated.
Yep.
So I've warned people since this first came out, don't buy into the hype. Don't spend your money. Just wait, sit back and wait and watch. I really, really hate it that Mike Diamond jumped on it and wrote that article when he did, because that's what started the whole thing. And he wanted to be first instead of being right. And I respect the crap out of Mike Diamond. Don't get me wrong. But that goes back to even the experts are wrong sometimes.
Well, this is you learn every day. You see new stuff all the time. The experts, that's not the right term for numismaticist.
No, but some numismaticists, but some will call themselves experts. Some won't.
I would never. I just don't like the term.
I don't either.
There's too much pressure that goes along with it too.
There's a lot of pressure that goes along with it. Never use that.
See if any of them turned up on
Jackalope, you can get one now for pretty cheap.
Oh, look at that. They're out
now.
there.
Yeah, you can get one now.
Oh, no, this is it. This is the one that was found. It's a one of a kind.
See Happy Chappy just gifted 5 memberships all. Thanks so much, See Happy Chappy. I appreciate you.
This has an extra J.
Can. Richard be happy. Eric Math.
Looks
Oh,
like
hey,
me,
Eric
yeah.
just got a membership. That's cool.
Yeah,
Oh,
great.
there is more of them.
Murder Mitten and
might be a thing.
Ferdo. Congratulations.
I hope it is.
There's one for sure, but this one is the one that was posted on Facebook.
Can you pull up the listing and I'll show us?
Yeah.
And it looks good to me.
So, Robert, that's
As
something
good
that
as
we
the other
talk about
ones.
a lot in here is that there's a lot of channels that are here just
Should I
to
put it in
gain
chat,
money.
or-
So, yeah, that
No,
one thing
can you
that I
just
try to
pull
do
up
on
the
this,
picture?
Robert, one thing that I try to do on this channel is to make sure that we provide good, solid information and avoid the misinformation that's out there. There's a lot of it. So it's frustrating. But if you have questions on things like that, just reach out and let us know. We'll do what we can to make sure we steer you in the correct direction. But thank you for being here. We appreciate your questions and your engagement. It really is appreciated. Can you share that viewing, Eric?
It will not let me share it. It's a WEPP file.
Oh,
So eBay has their own photo links now.
yeah.
Can you take a screenshot of the photo and just
It won't. It says that I have to have a special app to open it up. And it's
even a
probably me.
screenshot?
Yeah. Well, you're talking to somebody who doesn't know how to work computers.
So,
I've only been
Eric,
working on them
Send
for
me
a
the
year.
link.
hold
real
on,
quick.
hold on.
Can
Yeah.
you put the link in the private chat?
Yeah.
So the other thing you can do is if you go to your search button, okay, and you do snip, SNIP, you'll see something called the snipping tool. The snipping tool allows you to take a screen capture of that particular item. And then you can just share the snippet that you have.
One sec. Okay, let me pull this up.
Red Silver's laughing again.
Says
He's
it's
like,
one of a kind.
dag nabbit.
But there is two of them
Yeah.
listed within
Yeah.
eBay.
Yeah. Hang on. Let me
And it looks like it's been listed with AI.
So Robert, Bruce, if you're not already, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and there's a little bell next to it. If you turn that notification on, you'll get notification of when I go live or when I post videos or shorts of things of that nature. So that way you can stay up to date on some of the things that are happening. And then again, if you ever want to, you can do !email and that'll bring up my email address. So at any time during a live stream, you can get information. Then you can send that to me via that command.
okay, it's down in the basement.
Windows key control and S for snip tool. Yeah, I didn't want to. That's too complicated for some people, Chappie.
That was less
Frostbyte.
complicated than how you told me, just so you know.
Hello?
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 It's down in the basement.
No, it's not.
Hello? There.
No, dang
Here
it.
it
What
is.
happened? Wait, what's going on? Oh, there we go. Okay.
No, it's up. I can see it.
I was trying to zoom in, but unfortunately it won't allow me to. Paula wants me downstairs for a makeout session.
What?
She's like, meet me in the basement.
Is Eric still there?
I'm here.
Oh,
I'm speechless. I don't,
so there it is on the 2024.
until I
right?
see more, I'm still not buying it.
Hey, look, there's an X underneath Liberty too.
And he says there's an error on the E somewhere.
Yeah, I think he thinks it's like it's just a little damage, I think. But yeah. Yay.
That just doesn't even look like it belongs there.
There is vote for Pedro. My favorite one for
Yeah,
general
yeah.
numismatic pricing is Numismedia.
Yep. Yep, go to Numismedia, and if you really want to know what the market's doing, then search sold listings through auctions, through eBay. But Numismedia is, yeah, it's my go-to. If you don't have Gray Sheet,
Even Gray Sheet is changed. It's really strange now because I got Gray Sheet and
it's kind of hard to navigate.
they don't do. They used to do onesies where you could pay $30 or whatever, and they'd let you download the wholesale and the regular Gray Sheet. Now they don't. They only do the wholesale if you subscribe to it for a year.
Yeah, I know.
And which one's that, Gray Sheet?
Yeah, and it doesn't
Yeah.
change that much. You really only need one or two a year.
I just reach out to people that have it and ask them to look it up.
So we'll see how long this one works. So, but it used to be nice just to get a PDF file and have it. And they do, like at the fun show and a lot of the bigger shows, they actually give you
Good William prices.
a copy of it when you walk through the door, but that's the retail Gray Sheet.
Going back decades, is there a similar website? Oh, is that what Pedro was asking, if he can go back and look at? So yeah, Numismedia has like last year and this year for comparison, and then they'll give you, you'll notice things in red, you'll notice things in green, and then off to the right, it'll show you like a percentage of what it's gone up or down, or if it stayed the same.
And PCGS does that. With
Yeah,
red
but they
and
don't
green
go
and
back like a decade. They don't go back
No.
that far.
Gray Sheet, you can actually buy a book
Mm-hmm.
and get them by the decade from like 1960 to 1970, and you can get them all the way to like the recent decade. So that's what you'd want, Pedro, is they got a book that is a collective book of all the Gray Sheets over years and years.
Yep.
So-
And PCGS, like if you go to their Coinfax and you look up a certain year and date, and then you look at like their price guide that they have down there, they'll have like auction results down below that, oftentimes for like, you know, this coin sold on this date back in 2010, or so they'll have a little bit of that, but I know what you're looking for, and I don't think there is anything online, Pedro, not that I'm aware of, other than that.
All right. Well, we've got about 4 or 5 minutes until Coin Crew starts. So I'm going to go ahead and post that link in chat. We're going to go ahead and wrap this up. I do appreciate the conversation. Man, I can't tell you, this was fun today. I really appreciated
It was a good
that.
time again.
And
Yeah, it's always fun.
I will put some stuff together. I'm actually going to ask, I need to reach out to Chuck and see if he's interested in joining next week's conversation on Sunday regarding the small date, large date. Paula says she might not be here. I think it'd be fun to have both Chuck and Eric online to do that. So let me see who I can find, but we will schedule the small large date discussion next Sunday. So if you're interested in that, you should see that. It'll drop Saturday because I stream on Saturday. So I have to do a whole bunch of different stream keys and stuff. So I'll drop that Sunday, but I'll make sure that that's done immediately after next Saturday's stream. And then I will remind you of it. So, but again, thank you so much.
Bye, guys. Bye. Bye.
Take care. Have a wonderful day,
Have a
Paula.
blessed Sunday. Bye.
Yep, I'm gonna bail at the same time. We'll see you, Frosty. See everybody later.
We'll see you later. All right, folks. But again, thank you so much for coming up. And again, if you enjoyed today, you enjoy this kind of conversation and you're not a subscriber, do me a favor, hit that button, click that notification bell. Let me know what about today you enjoyed. If you came in and we talked about the slabs and you were here and you left and you came back, or we were talking about the small date coins, or we're talking about errors or varieties or searching, whatever it might have been that interests you, please do me a favor, send me something in chat. And Old Bill, I did see that. I'll look at that video link here in just a few moments. Thank you for sending that. I appreciate it. Send a notification. I'll be on the stream. Yeah. So as long as you hit that notification bell, it'll tell you like 30 minutes ahead of time. But again, if you like this topic, again, do me a favor, share this stuff out, right? It's free to you guys, but it really does help my channel, and it does help me get insight as to what it is that you guys want to talk about, because ultimately that's what I'm interested in. I will do whatever research I can that benefits you. So if you're looking for something, you have questions, you don't know how to ask it, doesn't matter. I will work with you and I will try to find out how to either get you to the right resource or help you out. All right, folks, again, I'm going to throw that link in chat. It won't show up on the portrait side simply because I'll put the link there, but you won't be able to click on it. That takes you to Coin Crew. Please do me a favor. Thanks, Robert. I appreciate it. When you get over to Coin Crews, if you head over there, please do me a favor. Tell them that Frosty sent you. Smash that thumbs up. Make sure you smash that thumbs up before you leave here. All right, folks, take care. And you know what?